time of year. And I'll say this for those for those Patriots fans that traveled for this game, they kind of got ripped off a little bit because if this was scheduled just 1 week later, you could have double dipped like you like to do, and you could have got the Red River rivalry like you could have done in 2015, like I did, and you get Oklahoma and Texas right at the Texas State Fair.
Oh, yeah, that would have been amazing. You're right. Yeah, off by just 1 week. No question about it. This is a big one for the Patriots. You know, we talk about all the star power, and obviously the Cowboys have a star in their helmet and all that other stuff. But I think this one's one up front, and the Patriots feel pretty good about their offensive line now. No Cole Strange, obviously. But we haven't talked about this. Big for Dallas when you look at it, that Zach Martin's going to be the 8-time Pro Bowler. He's going to be able to go for them at guard. And Tyler Biotish is going to be able to go for them, their center. That's big. Those guys were questionable for this game, and they missed practice time during the week. So that's big for the Cowboys. Let's see how those guys hold up.
All right. The game is coming up, of course, and I like the Patriots to cover. An upset, them pulling off an upset today would not surprise me. Stay tuned. Bob and Zoe will have the call of the game from the DraftKings broadcast booth. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots. Thanks to executive producer Jeremy Conley, technical producer Kev Majori for getting the show together today, and Chris Gasper from Parts Unknown. Chris will be back with me from Splitsville next week ahead of Patriots and Saints at home at Gillette Stadium. The New England Patriots pregame show is driven by the electrifying Honda Accord Hybrid. Contact your local New England Honda dealers to learn more or shop online at newengland.hondadealers.com. It's Patriots and Cowboys coming up at 4:25. Again, Bob and Zoe will have the call here on the Patriots Radio Network. For Chris Gasper, this is Jim Murray signing off from Waltham.
This has been Patriots Preview, driven by the rugged Honda Pilot Trail Sport. Available at your local New England Honda dealers.
We got to play with power inside.
Also brought to you by Safety Insurance, Duncan, America Runs on Duncan, Shaw's and Star Market, Mass General Cancer Center, Catches Law, Credit Unions Kids at Heart, Freight Plus.
Set the edge. Get out there and set it.
Also brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, your New England Ford dealers, Town Fair Tire, Devlin Energy, VA New England, Valvoline Instant Oil Change, Eastern Propane and Oil, Comcast Business, Cisco Brewers, Nice Beer, Good Vibes, and by Live Nation.
Come on, fellas, just do your job. Just do your job.
Also brought to you by your New England Honda dealers, Mass General Brigham, UMass Lowell, Avidia Bank, Reed's Ferry Storage Sheds, Roach Brothers, Dairy Queen, FanDuel Sportsbook, the Peterson School, Aaron's and Gravely Zero Turn Mowers, Massachusetts Health Connector, 128 Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric, and Drains, Hell of a Good Dips, United Ag and Turf, Apex Entertainment Center, and by Fearless Spoilers. The kickoff is next on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
Here we go.
Rolling Stone calls Killers of the Flower Moon a masterpiece.
I do love that money, sir.
It must be seen on the big screen. From director Martin Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro.
Oh my God.
Killers of the Flower Moon, rated R. Only in theater October 20th. Get tickets now.
Una de cada 8 personas ha trabajado en McDonald's, que le han hecho el mejor Big Mac y cumpleaños a cientos de personas, que no solo han visto niños graduarse de un Happy Meal, sino que también han recibido ayuda para graduarse ellos mismos, porque saben que lo que aprendes aquí puede ayudarte a crecer desde aquí.
Bienvenidos. Welcome to English Under the Arches. Por favor.
O seguir creciendo aquí.
Hi, welcome to McDonald's.
Una de cada 8 personas empieza en McDonald's, y donde empiezas se queda contigo.
What if our resources protected themselves? What if 0 drops of water went to waste? Work with Black & Veatch, and what if is all you need to ask. We outfit What Next with all sorts of efficiency.
Ready for LASIK? TLC Laser Eye Centers offers free virtual consultations. You can get all your questions answered without leaving the house. So book it now and let this 20-minute call be the first step towards 20/20 vision. Right now at TLC Laser Eye Centers, get $1,000 off LASIK when treated in October. That's $500 off per eye plus guaranteed financing. Just go to tlcoffer.com. Must mention this promotion and be treated in October of 2023 to qualify. $1,000 off for both eyes on standard wavelength price. $500 off for one eye. Cannot be combined with any other offers. See details at tlcoffer.com.
When it comes to fitness, what's real? How about when it really truly fits your life? That's how Anytime Fitness sees it. Because our coaches see you. It's how they build personal plans that work wherever you are and focus on everything that matters, from fitness to nutrition to recovery, all so you can push yourself further than ever, or just through the next rep. It's total 360 support for a real difference. That's Anytime Fitness. That's real AF. Visit AnytimeFitness.com.
That's the sound your engine's supposed to make. And with Valvoline, it will. Because in a side-by-side test, it was found to offer 24 times stronger protection than the industry-leading synthetic. Protection that can help prevent performance loss and eventual engine failure. So when you use Valvoline, your engine will always sound like this. When you use the leading synthetic, not so much. Maximize engine life with Valvoline, the original motor oil.
There's a humanitarian crisis gripping our city. It's heartbreaking to see men, women, and children living on our parks and on our sidewalks. But you can do something about it. San Diego cannot be defined by homelessness. This is Donnie D., CEO of the San Diego Rescue Mission. Help double the number of shelter beds and offer more meals and life-giving care to restore hope in our county, one life at a time. Visit sdrescue.org. Don't let despair win. Give help that works at sdrescue.org.
Toucher and Rich, morning 6 to 10 on the Sports Hub.
Gesicki moves right to left. Jones with a play fake. And a throw down the right seam. It's caught by Farrell Brown. Racing to the 20, 15-10. Chased by Amos 5. Stretching out to the pylon. A dive for a touchdown. Patriots! Last Sunday, Farrell Brown finished the Patriots' longest play this season by scoring their lone touchdown and beating New York. Needing more of the same today in Dallas, quarterback Mac Jones says the Pats have to keep fishing for the big catch.
I love chunk plays. I mean, my whole career I've kind of thrived off those, play action and normal chunk plays. So just trying to keep doing them. You got to keep the hook in the water, I guess they say. So you got to have the bait out there and continue to fish.
It begins with a line anchored by David Andrews and blocking one of football's best defenders.
He's a great player. He does a lot of good things. I think he plays really hard, plays with great effort. He's got a great get off. I mean, he's explosive. I mean, he's got everything you would want in a defensive player.
While New England's offense looks to control Micah Parsons, its defense must contain Dak Prescott as the Patriots confront the Cowboys. Next.
This is Patriots football.
Intercepted by Malcolm Butler, and the Patriots have possession with 20 seconds to go in Super Bowl 49.
The Patriots are brought to you by Safety Insurance, Duncan, America runs on Duncan, Shaw's and Star Market, Mass General Cancer Center, Catches Law, Credit Union's Kids at Heart, Freight Plus, DraftKings Sportsbook, your New England Ford dealers, Town Fair Tire, Clinton Savings Bank, Valvoline Instant Oil Change, Devlin Energy, and by your New England Honda dealers.
A fourth Lombardi trophy is headed to one Patriot place.
By VA New England, Eastern Propane and Oil, Comcast Business, United Construction and Forestry, Cisco Brewers, Nice Beer, Good Vibes, Mass General Brigham, UMass Lowell, Avidia Bank, Bigelow Tea, Reed's Ferry Storage Sheds, Roach Brothers, Dairy Queen, the Peterson School, and by Aaron's and Gravely Zero Turn Mowers.
Driving forward, diving to the goal line, a touchdown and a title for the Patriots.
Also brought to you by Wendy's, Dig Safe, Massachusetts Health Connector, Hell of a Good Tips, 128 Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric, and Drains, United Ag and Turf, The Closet Factory, Dom's, the official steak tip of the New England Patriots, Apex Entertainment Center, FanDuel Sportsbook, and by Peerless Spoilers.
And the Patriots have won their 6th Super Bowl title.
Now, here's the voice of the Patriots, Bob Socci and Scott Solak.
And Logan, everyone, a very pleasant good afternoon. Welcome to Arlington, Texas at AT&T Stadium for a Week 4 encounter of the 1-2 New England Patriots and the 2-1 Dallas Cowboys. Bob Socci with Scott Zolak. It is great to have you with us. And so the Patriots coming off a win over the New York Jets last week. The Cowboys, in contrast, suffering a loss despite being an 11-point favorite at Arizona. As we hear the fans react to the Patriots taking the field today. And one of the guys that's leading them out is Ezekiel Elliott, the former great running back of the Cowboys, and it figures the Patriots are going to look for him and Ramondre Stevenson to try to lead the way.
Yeah, if we were doing this game 2 weeks ago, I would say I would be a little bit worried about that. But coming off the performance from a week ago, where I thought Zeke ran with a lot of purpose, you know, a lot of people were talking like, well, his best days are behind him. Yeah, I do agree with that a little bit, but he ran the way that he did a week ago. You got a chance here today, and I think we got to get Ramondre going. Ramondre's not the same guy. It was sort of an odd camp, the 4 weeks, kind of just easing into it. A lot of guys didn't play during the preseason. I get all that. But you watch a lot of bad football today across the league, and you sit there and you go through the records. You just said we're 1-2. At some point, something's got to give. We're inside today. there was some talk of bad weather over the last couple weeks, and maybe that affected the offense. No more excuses. You're up against a team that I do think is top-heavy. I think we do overrate them at times because they really haven't gotten over the big hump where, okay, they're a good regular season team. They don't do much in the playoffs, do the Dallas Cowboys, nor have they. But I think we can get to their quarterback, and I think we can put him in a position where he might give you one or two today.
Cowboys are star-laden. Micah Parsons, as good as it gets among the defenders in the NFL. It's a team that exerts a lot of pass pressure. But last week, Arizona rushed for 222 yards against the Dallas defense.
Yeah, and I think, it's about running at that type of talent. When you look at Parsons, going back all the way back to guys like Jason Taylor when he played for the Miami Dolphins, we would run at him. And you got to take it to those type of guys. The worst thing you can do is allow those guys to pursue and chase plays from behind in the run game. So there's no way they're going to let Parsons wreck this game. Belichick takes one guy and he says, we're going to focus on that. This guy won't beat us today. But you have to worry about DeMarcus Lawrence. He's another guy on the other side, number 90. Right. Van Der Esch, number 55, experienced linebacker. Sort of one of those meathead type guys. Runs around in the middle. They're smart up front. And then maybe we can attack them a little bit on the outside. Old friend Stephon Gilmore now becomes and elevates as the number one corner with Diggs being out with the ACL.
And the Patriots have to strike downfield. Bill Belichick talked about it. Bill O'Brien talked about it. Players throughout the week talked about it. They've had only a couple of pass plays of 20-plus yards thus far. They need to hit off play action on one of those types of plays today.
They do, but you're right about the run game. You don't have play action if you don't have the running game. So mix and match that. This is a big one again here for Billy O'Brien. Because I think if you could get to 2-2, there's some games out there in front of you now. I know our record's not great at home over the last 3 or 4 years, but at some point, something has to give. Are you going to be a good football team? Are you going to go after it this year? Or are we going to sit there and worry about playing competitively and just always coming up short? That can't be anymore.
Cowboys this season plagued by poor red zone results. Dallas over the course of the last 2 weeks, just 3 for 11 in the red zone. And red zone defense has been a strength of the Patriots.
They have. And we've always had that sort of bend it but don't break mentality. And I do think we eliminate the big play over the top, those shot plays. And this isn't the type of game where you want to allow that to happen for a guy like Gallup, because I do think we're going to concentrate on CeeDee Lamb, find out where he is. Maybe Christian Gonzalez gets the heavy workload there with help. But don't let Gallup, don't let Cooks, don't let the tight ends in the red zone beat you here today.
Gonzalez, has he surprised you how quickly in this league he's been able to match up with great receivers?
He has, because, we're going on game 4 here. The kid hasn't had a hiccup. A.J. Brown, I think, turned him around once on a pivot route. That's like one play the guy's given up in all the snaps that I think we've watched about as close as you can. I don't want to call him special. We've had really good corners over the years, and Bill's done a really good job replacing them when they've moved on. But this kid, his body movement, I like his size, I like his presence, and he just doesn't seem to be overwhelmed by anything. He's got a long way to go, like Coach says, but he's off to a great start.
Meanwhile, the Cowboys have Tony Pollard, a 100-yard rusher a week ago, a guy who's picked up the load from Ezekiel Elliott. They split it in the past. Pollard leads the NFL in touches. Are you worried about the Patriots' interior defense? Godshaw got injured last week. Qualley was placed on injured reserve after last Sunday.
Yeah, tearing the bicep there. Bad break for him. But we've always gotten walled off here over the course of the last 3 games, a little bit inside. That is a concern of mine. We got to be able to scrape. Bentley's got to have a good game. And I think those safeties down in the box, like I told our pregame show, we got to be able to mix and match that to where we're getting guys down in coverage to where Pollard can't get to that second level. He's a bouncer. He likes to see some daylight to the outside, get to that sideline where Zeke's a little more between a tackle type hitter. Pollard's not a hitter. He's a bouncer.
What about this setting, this stage for the Patriots against the Dallas Cowboys? You got a couple of young specialists in particular performing today at AT&T Stadium.
Don't get overwhelmed. It was really good in the pregame here, watching the Dallas sideline along with the Joneses and Crafts, two power brokers here in the National Football League, and we're in the house of Jerry built. This thing's pretty nice.
Patriots bidding for Bill Belichick's 300th career regular season win. Cowboys looking for a 10th straight victory at home. Coming up next, the United Ag and Turf starting lineups and the kickoff on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
Here we go.
Rolling Stone calls Killers of the Flower Moon a masterpiece.
I do love that money, sir.
It must be seen on the big screen. From director Martin Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro.
Oh my God.
Killers of the Flower Moon, rated R. Only in theaters October 20th. Get tickets now.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way. Offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Reporting live from under my blanket, I'm Susan Curtis with Dunkin' at Home. Breaking news, pumpkin spice iced and hot coffees are back. I'll pass it to Mr. Curtis with his blanket for the full story.
That is so right, Susan. You know, it's never too early to get in a spicy mood. I'm talking cinnamony goodness that's so tasty, people don't want to leave their blankets either. Back to you.
No, back to you.
All you.
The home with Dunkin' Pumpkin Spice is where you want to be.
1 in 8. That's how many people have worked at a McDonald's, who serve millions the best Big Mac and best birthday party they've ever had, who haven't just seen kids graduate from a Happy Meal, but have gotten help graduating themselves. Because they know the skills learned here
Bienvenidos. Welcome to English Under the Arches.
can help you grow from here or keep growing here. 1 in 8 start at McDonald's, and when you start, stays with you.
There's nothing quite like the Honda Accord Hybrid and the CR-V Hybrid when it comes to exhilarating efficiency. With hybrid technology and thrilling capability, these vehicles deliver an electrifying performance on every drive. But what truly makes these hybrids special is the unwavering determination that inspires everything we do. Redefine your driving experience with Honda, KBB.com's best value brand of 2023.
Based on 2023 brand image awards from Kelly Blue Book, visit KBB.com for more information.
Jake from State Farm here to answer your what ifs.
What if I need a policy, but I just can't choose?
An agent can help you choose. At State Farm, we're there for your what ifs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
I came from a low-income family that was struggling. You see how hard life can get. GC became a part of my life because I don't want my family to fall back into that. I never thought education would take me this far. I'm still young. I still have a lot to do in my life and just want to get things done the way I want with a good education under me. I'm Stacy, and Grand Canyon University helped me find my purpose.
The only place to hear the game, the Sports Hub.
I'm excited though. Well, we're not going to get too much into the hype and all that. That's what we got to focus on. But it's going to be an exciting atmosphere. You know what I mean? That's what we live for. We live for excitement. We live to entertain. So let's do it.
There's Kendrick Bourne on the atmosphere here at AT&T Stadium, and your starting lineups are brought to you by United Ag and Turf, the largest John Deere dealership in New England with 42 locations. Get any job done with United Ag and Turf's full line of John Deere equipment. Visit a location near you or check them out online at unitedequip.com. Patriots on offense start with wide receivers Juju Smith-Schuster and Devontae Parker. Your tackles Trent Brown and Vidarian Lowe. Guards are Antonio Mafi and Michael Onwenu. Centers David Andrews. Tight ends Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki. Running back Ramondre Stevens with Zeke Elliott. We'll get to him shortly. And your quarterback is number 10, Mac Jones. Awaiting the opening coin toss. Looks like Matt Slater, Jawan Bentley, and Dietrich Wise are out there. Looks like Patriots have won the opening. No, they have not won the opening coin toss. Looks like Dallas has won the opening coin toss. They will receive. So Dallas is going to take the ball. The coin toss is brought to you by Clinton Savings Bank. Don't play heads or tails with your mortgage. With CSB Safeguard Mortgage, you can modify your interest rate once within the first 5 years. Perfect for when rates go down. Get details at ClintonSavings.com. Member FDIC DIF, equal housing lender. NMLS 422081. Very nice tribute by the Dallas Cowboys here. Brief video with Zeke Elliott, and Zeke very receptive to it, doing Let's Eat with the Super Bowl sign, waving to the crowd. So pretty special moment for him. He had a pretty good chunk of his career here, made a lot of money with the Dallas Cowboys as a running back. And for the official call of the game, turn over to my broadcast partner, your voice of the Patriots, as we await the opening kick. Bob Sosa.
All right, so thanks so much. The video of Ezekiel Elliott, the tribute montage of the Patriots running back, former Cowboy, as I told you, on the massive video board here, which hangs 90 feet above the playing field and stretches from one 20-yard line to the other. In an enclosed environment, AT&T Stadium, about 100,000 people in attendance. Michael Irvin, the playmaker, delivering the pregame speech on said video board. And for the fourth consecutive week, the Patriots are wearing their all-nautical blue top to bottom. The Cowboys in their traditional home look with the white jerseys with the pale blue pants and the silver helmets with, of course, the ever-present star. It's on every cup and napkin and everywhere you turn in this massive facility. Patriots, of course, with the flying Elvis on their silver helmets with Chad Ryland, the rookie place kicker, having teed it up. Down below to our left,
6-0, bottom of the 5th inning. Astros win, Rangers lose, their tie. Houston gets the tiebreaker and wins the division.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot going on.
There's
final
a
day.
lot going on.
We do know the teams that'll be in the playoffs in Major League Baseball.
It's
but
just standings.
the Rangers,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which obviously you want to win the division.
How about the Diamondbacks making the playoffs?
I mean, good for them.
Diamondbacks?
Yeah, good for
Did
Corbin
you see
Carroll.
how they celebrated? They all hopped in the pool.
Yeah, pool.
Go big or go home. That's how it is.
All right, Monty, phenomenal today.
What a day.
Unbelievable
What a
stuff
day.
going on around. Again, Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. So the Eagles have the ball. They're going to have to do something about this push play. I know they have reviewed it after the season, decided to allow it to be. But to me, it's sort of like the PGA Tour with the brace putter. They finally said, enough's enough. You can't do that anymore. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles, I don't blame the Eagles for taking full advantage. They're seemingly the only team that's figured this thing out. But I don't think it should be a legal play. And but the league said otherwise.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't think we should punish the Eagles for having a quarterback that can squat 500 pounds in the best offensive line in football.
Well,
But
again,
what happens
he
when
doesn't
you're-
need any help. But he
Right.
gets pushed in.
I think the concern is going to be, and we haven't had it happen yet, but like if someone gets hurt on
That's
this
what
play,
I was
this
gonna
is
say.
this is a rugby play. This is basically
Absolutely.
a rugby
It's
scrum.
like the flying
and it's
wedge.
different when you're wearing like pads and hard helmets versus what rugby players wear, which is basically shirts.
I'll answer this by just letting you guys know from playing the offensive line position, the center position, the least damage you're taking is when you're facing somebody who's directly in front of you. That contact is relatively minimal.
Yeah, no momentum, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like when you're taking on a linebacker who's hard filling from 5 yards and he's got a 3-step, head start and he lowers his head into your helmet, man, that rattles your brain. When you're on the outside, pulling on the outside, and you're looking to, hunt down a linebacker and he rocks you, I mean, those are the collisions that you worry about. Those are minimal. Rugby scrums, nobody gets injured in those. So I have no problem from a player safety standpoint. And then the other thing about it is it extends drives. This is what everybody wants. Their fantasy football team lighting up. A.J. Brown having 200 yards of offense.
Well, no other team seems to have figured this play out except the Eagles. I've seen other teams sort of try it, and they don't do it like the Eagles do. By the way, the Raiders on their opening drive after the Chargers scored are now at the Chargers' 8-yard line, first and goal. Aiden O'Connell.
He's looking good.
He looked good in the preseason
He
for
did.
the Raiders. And the thing I always look for quarterbacks is decision-making, quick decision-making, get rid of the ball, something that Brock Purdy does so beautifully for the 49ers. And we're seeing it on this opening drive. And, wow, right up the middle, touchdown Raiders.
Look at that.
Boom.
Is that Josh Jacobs? Did he get in there?
Yeah, he went right up the middle. And the Raiders are an extra point away of tying this game up against the Chargers. So, no Jimmy Garoppolo, but at least on this opening drive, the Raiders look good.
Yeah, Aiden O'Connell, again, like you said, it looks good.
Wait a
and
second.
maybe the
The knee might have been a half yard
They
short of the
review
goal
all
line.
these scoring plays, so we'll see if they give it to him. Aiden O'Connell, what you said is true. Yeah, that knee was down. That's going to be
Right
at
there.
the half
Yeah, it's
yard
at the
line.
half yard line.
The script, right? Josh McDaniels, longtime offensive coordinator. The first 10 plays of any offensive game plan are scripted.
Yes.
And so if things go well, if you stay on the chains, if you're doing a nice job, by the way, a 54-yard attempt for the win in overtime. Jake Elliott lining up for the kick in Philadelphia, and it is good. 34-31 victory. Philadelphia's walk off the field. Boy, that was dicey, though. Those Commanders.
Well, I mean, again, we talk about a 4-0 Eagles team, and each week they seem to get worse.
Well, they got backed up because A.J. Brown ran the wrong route and was not where Jalen Hurts expected him to be, so they called him for intentional grounding.
Yeah.
Pushing him back 10 yards.
Divisional games are always weird, and I think we should have probably expected this. Also, Sam Howell does look like they have their quarterback in
Oh,
Washington.
they do. By the way, the 49ers didn't take long getting on the board, a Christian McCaffrey run. So the 49ers, who at least at this point look like the team to beat in the NFC, the early 7-0 lead over the Cardinals. Meanwhile, the Cowboys got a field goal on their opening drive. They lead the Pats by a score of 3-0. By the way, Patriots are 1-2 right now. And by the way, the Patriots are 0-2 at home.
They just stuffed Tony Pollard in a 3rd-and-1 try at the 1-yard line against this
big
Dallas
pass play
Cowboys
for the Patriots.
offense. Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
and then some.
Move. How about that move?
That was a big, long pass down the sideline to Douglas. So Mac Jones connects, gets it on the Dallas side of the field. So the Dallas Cowboys go on this long, sustained drive for about 5 or 6 minutes to open the game. Patriots hold them to 3. And now quick strike. They're down on the other end of the field. Mac Jones, a little bit of a scramble drill there, ranging out to his non-throwing side and throws a dime on the run.
Aiden O'Connell, by the way, on the keeper, gets the touchdown for the Raiders. So the Raiders are an extra point away of tying this game against the Chargers. It is 7-6, soon to be, I would guess. Have we had a missed kick extra point today?
I don't think so.
I do not believe we have.
Yeah.
So I keep looking for one, which, and by the way, last year at this time, we used to have, 3 or 4 every single Sunday? That extra point is good, so 7-all now. Raiders and the Chargers.
The weather has been better in a lot of these football games this year. I remember last year's, it was sloppy and a lot of different, the weather, rain, and a lot of issues there, so maybe that helps. Either way, this Raiders team, I'm sure a lot of people's expectations were fairly low, having your backup quarterback get the start against a Chargers team that, while disappointing so far this year in their play, is still stacked both offensively and defensively. So a tie ball game in Las Vegas.
Well, Aiden O'Connell will start the game 3 for 338 yards. On the other side, Justin Herbert, 2 for 5, 11 yards. 2 for 5, 11 yards.
He just stiff-armed an interior defensive lineman on the last drive and absolutely ragdolled him.
How about that?
Justin Herbert is one of those quarterbacks who you look at and you say, yeah, he signed the big extension with the Chargers and he'll be there for the next, handful of years, 4 or 5 year contract.
Yeah.
But you think about what could have been if Justin Herbert was drafted by one of these other squads. I mean, it's
a waste of talent.
Well, we're getting there, man. If the Chargers find a way to miss the postseason this year, I think you can say that with some certainty that a good portion of the early part of his career, where he was obviously inexpensive when he was first drafted, have been wasted and a window shut on the Chargers because of poor situational coaching and bad defense since he's been there.
All right, so the Patriots are going to have to settle for a field goal attempt. We got 6:44 to go in the first quarter, 24-yard attempt. A little chip shot here for the Pats, who have lost both home games this year, but looking for their second win on the road. The field goal attempt is good, so 3-all, 7:49 to go in the first quarter in that game. All right, we'll continue on. We got 3 games going on after a huge wave of some very entertaining football early on. For all your NFL news, keep it right here. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
Football fans, it's the pregame show you've been waiting for. Don't miss Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM, every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, taking you all the way to kickoff. There's no better way to get ready for football every Sunday than with us, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The pandemic is over, but COVID-19 is here to stay. In fact, it's still among the top 5 leading causes of death in the U.S., just after heart disease and cancer. So this fall, stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like you do with the flu, because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna.
Damn, it's
The Herd, When Colin Cowherd drops the info, the herd, you need to listen. Right here.
So what do we make of Jordan Love? Okay, so in first half numbers, he's been absolutely awful. Jordan Love first half stats. 47% completion percentage, 66 passer rating. He's awful. He's the opposite, though, of Russell Wilson. He's been good in the second half. So it's weird. Why? Usually a young quarterback could be good on script and deteriorate. He's apparently terrible on script, but he can make plays happen. So my takeaway of watching Jordan Love, and I said it before the season, give me until Thanksgiving. He's been sitting in the system, good coach, good O-line, although David Bakhtiari's out. Give me about Thanksgiving, I'll have a feel. He doesn't look panicky. He doesn't look overwhelmed. He moves well. Nice athlete. How about that left-hander out of the end zone? He's got a little clever play. Right now, running back Aaron Jones, not 100%. Left tackle David Bakhtiari not playing. Interior O-lineman banged up too. Those are crucial pieces, so let's be fair. But you do get to week 4, 5, 6 in the NFL, and everybody's banged up. So here's what I would say. I don't understand quite. The first half is bad. The second half is good. My guess is he just has no feel for the game because he's been sitting for 3 years and hasn't played. Right? Like he just doesn't have any feel for it. Burrow's got great feel. Mahomes got great feel. Caleb Williams, you'll watch him this weekend, great feel for it. Those guys have played a lot of football, high school, college, and pro. This guy played at small Utah State, sat in the bench for 3 years. He hasn't played. He doesn't have any pocket awareness.
If you're eager to find out what Colin said next, just podcast it by searching The Herd. And as always, you can listen live to Colin Cowherd weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is Two Pros and a Cup of Joe.
I could get the frustration, but my whole thing is, what can Robert Saleh do?
They played Thursday night last year. There was a game against the Jaguars, and Zach Wilson didn't even get through like the first quarter, and Jets fans were booing his ass off the field. So if all of that was going on, why was he brought back? Like why? Like if it
I
was
tried to say this before the season, y'all. Like this was the whole point I was trying to make was they didn't I'm surprised. First off, there's so many different levels of they don't have faith in him. He doesn't have confidence and faith in himself. He needed a new start.
Yes.
They needed a new start. The team, the locker room needed a new start. Look, they'd be in the same exact spot when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, whether Zach Wilson was the backup or not.
Two Pros, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and a Cup of Joe, Jonas Knox. 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Oh!
Here we go!
Steve Covino. Ooh! Rich Davis.
Yes!
This is Covino and Rich.
Rich showed me a 6-game span that the Eagles are facing. They're going to be hurting. They're going to be a beaten down team based on that schedule, the Eagles move forward.
There's a stretch where, it gets even worse because I looked at the game before that.
Yeah.
The Eagles, defending NFC champions, they're supposed to get a tough schedule. That's how the NFL does their scheduling, right? Strength of schedule based on a lot of factors, that being one of them. They play, get this, starting before Halloween. The Eagles play the Dolphins, then they play the Commanders. You could say that's sort of light, but then they play Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys again, and then at Seattle. That's a stretch, dude. That's not an easy one.
Covino and Rich, weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. When you want sports, we got you.
We've seen Joe Burrow walk in. He's looked unbelievable.
If he's playing well, then he's playing with house money.
When you want news, we got you.
We have breaking news. Breaking news in the world of college basketball.
When you want laughs.
As coroner, I must concur. I thoroughly examine.
Yeah, but that's the corner.
We got you. Anytime, any place. We're Fox Sports Radio, the premier sports lineup in the nation. The most fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken.
Wow.
You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app.
A 54-yard attempt by Jake Elliott. Hold your breath. Ball is spotted. The kick is away. And the kick is... Goal! win. The Eagles win.
Lights out.
Jake
Boy, what a
Elliott
battle.
does it with his 4th field goal of the day.
That is 94 WIP Eagles Radio Network. So the Eagles escape with a 34-31 overtime win against the Washington Commanders. That's our Progressive Play of the Day, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. Fox Sports Red Zone Radio, Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger, live from the TireRack.com studios. It's really a 5-man crew here. We got Bo producing. We got Monty with the updates. We got Chris on the board. Chris could rest today because his Lions safely in with a win this week. What a morning, guys. I mean, seriously. We had all kinds of excitement, a couple of overtime games, some shocking scores today. Again, I still cannot get over that Bears loss to the Broncos. Up 28-7, playing an incredible game, and they find a way to lose.
Well, their season's over. I mean, because think of it from so many different standpoints. Wild card? No. A division? Certainly not.
14-game losing streak. How many teams lose 14 in a row and a coach still has a job?
That's the point. What you're going to see now, have to resign suddenly. We still don't have word on exactly what happened there. And then you have
personal behavior.
Right. Matt Eberflus, who has, like you said, gone on this insane losing streak, and you have public mutiny happening at the quarterback position. I don't care what anybody says. Justin Fields said what he said. He said he doesn't feel like he's being coached the right way in Chicago. And I don't blame him.
So here was the thing. They blow the 28-7 lead. It was a fumble return for a touchdown to tie it. The Bears go right down the field.
Yep.
They're at like the 22-yard line. They have a 3rd and 5. 3rd and 5. And at that point, Fields had 3 incomplete passes. They ran the ball up the middle to set up a 4th down. They called a timeout. They ran a play up the middle. They got stuffed, handing the ball back to the Broncos. They got the field goal that ended up winning the game. Again, how many coaches survive a 14-game losing streak?
Not
By
many.
the way, Bears play on Thursday night as well.
And the Bears have a short week.
Christian McCaffrey just set a franchise record with his last touchdown, 13 straight games now. He's superseded Jerry Rice in his short time with the San Francisco 49ers. Do you know who I'm talking about? Jerry Rice, he also played running back.
Can I tell you a quick story? I was covering the celebrity golf tournament up at Lake Tahoe. I used to do that for a number of years.
Yeah.
So I'm about to leave my room in the morning, and I hear somebody running down the hall, outside of my hotel room. Yeah, I can hear. So I open up the door, and I look to my right, and it's Jerry Rice.
Mm-hmm.
He's running sprint because he's in the golf tournament. He's running sprints in the hallway of this, and he's not even playing anymore. And I'm like, and I just, like my friend, I'm like, Jerry, what are you doing? He goes, just getting a little workout in.
I'll tell you what, you know what that gives me? It's reminiscent of the Russell Wilson 8-hour flight to London where he's doing high knees in the aisles. You know what? Look, sometimes it's for you, sometimes it's for everyone else. That one you can find an open.
Well, first of all, you're doing it in a
somewhere.
hotel. If I could hear it, other people in the hallway can hear you running.
All right, take her
easy. He saw the long straightaway and he went for it.
Look, I mean, Jerry Rice is one of the greatest receivers, obviously, to ever play the game, and arguably and you're talking about great company with Montana and Steve Young, but one of, if not the best Niner,
his records will never be broken,
who's ever lived. However, we say that, and I say it honestly with a slight tongue-in-cheek, because Brock Purdy, I mean,
whoa. Did you put Brock Purdy in the conversation with Joe Montana and Steve Young?
And Young and
you
Rice?
You got to win at least a Super Bowl.
No. Coordinate him now. Are you kidding me? Why are we waiting? Number 13? I mean, I honestly...
All right, let me check his numbers right now.
No.
Brock Purdy is 4 for 4 for 51 yards. 4 for 4, 51 yards to start this game against the Cardinals.
I say make the mold and start pouring the bronze and call Canton.
By the way, speaking of Canton, Christian McCaffrey, 7 carries, 33 yards, and has scored 2 catches for 22 yards.
Yeah, he's okay, as it turns out. Number 23 of this Niners
especially
offense.
In this offense.
Yeah, although he just got stuff there on 3rd and 4. So the Cardinals are turning into a tricky out. this team, Jonathan Gannon, kind of a strange guy, but I think he's got this team playing some fired up football. You especially watch defensively, and remember how good the Eagles were defensively a year ago. They do a lot of things right, and they're playing against a very, very good offense.
All right, the Chargers are on the move again. By the way, with Mike Williams out for the year, Quentin Johnson, who's basically a carbon copy of Mike Williams, the draft pick out of TCU. He has caught an 18-yard pass in this game. Keenan Allen already a couple of catches coming off that 18-reception game he had against the Vikings last week.
Yeah, key on Keenan Allen obviously is always going to get the football, but Quentin Johnson and Joshua Palmer, who scored a touchdown in their victory over the Vikings last week, to get a lot more touches in this offensive passing game, because that Mike Williams injury, which – look, Mike Williams has been injured a lot as a Los Angeles Charger.
Has he played his last game as a Charger?
No. When did they sign that contract? Was it 2 years ago? No, he's going to finish out that contract.
It's unfortunate because when he's on the field, he is almost impossible to cover.
No, I mean, he's the type of threat you want downfield because he's so fast and he has rare size considering his speed and great ball skills. So whether it's in, short area, like the low red zone, you have an opportunity to throw it up to Big Mike. And then on these sideline routes or some of these routes down the middle of the field, he can stretch the defense out. And obviously number 13, Keenan Allen, has profited greatly during their time working together as a result.
All right, Chargers first and goal at the 7, and we have an incomplete pass right there. By the way, Austin Eckler out for the third consecutive game.
Well, again, this was a large contingent of running backs and several who are injured to start the season. Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, who are talking about their value not being appropriately applied this offseason. A lot of them looking for big extensions and many of them having to sign shorter-term incentive-laden contracts. And I think you see why now. Saquon Barkley hasn't played, injured his ankle. Eckler with the hammy, it's a problem. Running backs, they are vulnerable.
And we got a sack for the Raiders right now. Back to the 15-yard line. Max Crosby getting the job done. He's one of the better ones out there. All right, unbelievable day, Richie. Unbelievable day. Yeah. Still a lot more to come, so don't go anywhere. We got it for you right here on Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox Sports. Klein tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brands and quality products, and Klein Tools delivers. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece ModBox mobile workstation for $319.94 and the Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set for just $34.97, both exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brand at Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
Does your current trophy wife want a life insurance policy 3 times the size of your previous mistakes? Relax and call Big Lou at Term Provider. Big Lou says if you're in your 50s, even a bit porky, a $1 million term life policy should only cost about $200 to $300 per month. Call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He likes trophies, too. For affordable life insurance, call 800-529-2856.
The most fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken.
Wow.
You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app.
Hey, guys.
Ready? Jason Smith and Mike Harmon are dropping knowledge like this.
The Yankees will be unrecognizable going into next year. I know it's just, they're 81-79. Look, it's a testament that somehow this team can finish above 500. It really is. It's amazing how bad they've been and that they can still finish above 500. But this is a team that's got to make big-time changes, and it's going to be no Aaron Boone. A lot of these there's only a couple of guys I could guarantee you'll be in the starting lineup next spring. There's going to be new. It's going to be new everything because this is such a failure. They're going to have to buy players out. They're going to have to make trades to bring other young players in and free up some money to do something in the offseason because they can't just come back next year and say, okay, we're going to try to do a little bit of spit and polish on what we have. No, No, it's not nearly good enough. You got Stanton can't stay healthy, stay in the lineup. It's very difficult. Look, Rodon was going to be your big guy, and look how bad he has been. This has been an absolute abject failure. And I know that Brian Cashman is trying to hold on to his job by his fingernails, saying, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to fix it. Well, it's going to be an unrecognizable team, whether it's a new GM or Cashman. It should be a new general manager because the Yankees need new leadership. They need a new direction because this direction Cashman's been taking them the last few years has not been working. There should only be a couple of guys in the lineup when the new season starts, and it's Judge and it's Torres, and that's about it. Everybody else can be replaced, can be traded for upgrades. It needs to be, and it will be, a big-time change for the Yankees. And look, the Rodon thing, it's not just one game that you're going to punt on Rodon, who's going to finish the year with a 3-8 record. It's just...
To get the rest of what Jason Smith and Mike Harmon said, podcast it by searching The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. And as always, you can hear The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah! Here we go!
The Ben Maller Show.
Are you in?
We're going to start by throwing a pile of blame cheese curds right there, right at the foot of Matt LaFleur. Now, I'm a believer that coaches in the NFL are mostly responsible for game prep and cultivating the culture, right? Creating a winning environment that your team's ready to show up and play, and they're ready for a dogfight every game. And you might not win them all, you won't win them all, but you're going to compete, right? You're gonna fight to the end. The Packer team that showed up in this game, and I got no skin in the game, okay? I'm not a Packer fan, I'm not a Lions fan. But the Packer players showed up not ready for a dogfight. They were ready for a slumber party. And for the second consecutive week, the Packers were not ready at the start of the game. The entire team played like they were in a medically induced coma.
Ben Maller, weeknights, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, on Fox Sports Radio. The Herd.
I am what I am.
There's nothing normal about him, and he's not your average sports fan.
Why are people trying to convince themselves average is good?
He's different.
I want my quarterbacks to be quarterbacky.
He's Colin Cowherd, dissecting sports to their core every morning.
Most great coaches
are meant to be professors. Some are meant to be the dean of the department.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Test.
1. And here's what you need to know.
The Indianapolis Colts erased a 23-point deficit, but the Rams found a way to survive.
Stafford ready, calls for the snap. Here comes the rush. He throws right side alone. It's Puka at the 5 to the end zone. A walk-off winner.
Rams Radio Network on the call. The final score against the Colts, 29-23. The Eagles remain undefeated, but they also had to survive against the Commanders, coming out on top 34-31 in overtime. A.J. Brown had 9 receptions, 175 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Right now, it's all Christian McCaffrey for the 49ers. He's got 9 carries, 51 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and the 49ers are beating the Cardinals at home 14-0 early in the second quarter. The Cowboys are up on the Patriots at home 10-3. They're about to start the second, and the Chargers are beating the Raiders 10-7 at home. They're about to, early in the second. I'm Monty Bolaños.
This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
Let's go get these guys in 30 minutes, huh?
Recapping the early games.
Touchdown!
And bringing you the hits and plays that are going down now.
Stick Sparta, 5 weeks. Let's go! Go!
Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
Hey, look where we are, though. We're in the red zone. We got to put every ball in the end zone.
Now, live from the TireRack.com studios of Fox Sports Radio, here's Dan Beyer and 6-year NFL tight end, George Reister.
It's week 4 of the NFL. Kind of 1, 2, 3 games in this late window as we are broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com will help you get there. An unmatched selection, fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, and over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. We have a divisional showdown in the Bay Area. We also have a game that's a divisional showdown in Los Angeles where the road team is very likely the home team. And then, George, we have a game that the NFL wanted to give us for 20 years but could never deliver on Super Bowl Sunday. That is the Patriots and Cowboys. Now that Tom Brady is gone, I don't think the NFL cares as much. But that's what we've got. Cardinals, Niners, Bolts, and Raiders, and the aforementioned Patriots and Cowboys playing in Big D. That is our abbreviated late window today, just 3 games here in Week 4.
Yep. Now, Dan, I don't want to be Debbie Downer, right? I hate the 3 games in the late window. I do. I don't understand why they don't split the games up just a tad bit more to make the afternoon slates just a little more balanced.
Sure.
Because there's so much action in the morning at 10 a.m. that the 1 a.m. if you get a couple of blowouts, like it can just change the whole trajectory of the whole day.
Well, and let's be honest, George. We even knew at the beginning of the year this Niners-Cardinals game wasn't going to be one that we felt was going to be super competitive. Right now, you heard Monty say Niners up 14-0 in the game. So now you have a game that we really don't think is going to be competitive.
Yep.
And so now you got it.
So that's one game down.
Yeah. So now it's kind of 2 games that we're focused on. And I guess if you're the NFL and if you're the broadcast partners, if you're Fox that has this Patriots-Cowboys game and it goes to a large part of the country, that is what you want. You want all eyes on that game because it suits the broadcast partner in that way. But it is just odd. We had the London game earlier today, the first of the international games on the season. So that takes a game away from the usual 1 o'clock Eastern time kickoff. I think 4 is a good number that you have in this late window because you can bounce around. If there is a game that's kind of a dog, you still have 3 other ones. I think 4 is a nice number, 5 even better, but I'm good with 4 that you have late. But yeah, I'm right there with you in this 3-game stuff. It's just, especially when you have a game that could be a blowout, you don't know what's going to happen with the Chargers and Raiders who are starting Aiden O'Connell. At least the Raiders are for his first career start. There's a lot that could happen. And yeah, I am not a fan of the 3-game window, but that's what we've got, and hopefully it'll give us some good football. And speaking of Aiden O'Connell and the Chargers, Raiders, were just turned over by the Chargers, so it looks like the Bolts are going to get the football up 3 in Raiders territory. Oh, it could be a tuck rule situation as well in that certain play. It's something to keep an eye on. All right, so he is George Reister. I'm Dan Beyer. I do want to talk about one of the teams in this late window, and it is the San Francisco 49ers because they are up 14-0, and we think coasting on their way to a victory, even though it is the second quarter of their contest. We saw Philadelphia get all they could handle today from the Washington Commanders, but the Eagles hold on. They improved to 4-0 on the season. Dolphins were handed their first loss today handedly by the Buffalo Bills. So now you have the San Francisco 49ers there at 3-0, likely to go 4-0. They and the Eagles would be the last remaining unbeatens. Is San Francisco the best team in the National Football League right now, George?
No.
They are not.
Nope. I mean, they are one of the best teams in the league, but their schedule has not given them the opportunity to necessarily prove that. You know what I mean? Like they're doing a really good job. I want to see them face a little bit of effort. Like they played the Steelers, who are not good, right?
Yes, correct.
Especially offensively. They're good on defense. Offensive, not so much. The Cardinals are not a good football team. Giants are not a good football team. The Rams are just mid, right? So we'll know more about them when they get against the Cowboys, when they play the Browns in 2 weeks if Watson's back. And I mean, truthfully, when you look at their schedule, their schedule is not exactly a murderer's row of like you look at this schedule and you're not like, oh man, that's a tough stretch right there.
Yeah, but part of it is a little bit maybe because of the division that they've got here. That when you've got the 2 games against Arizona, even though the Rams played them tough, is you characterize the Rams as mid. I've been impressed with the Rams so far with what they've done, and maybe it was because my expectations were so low.
Oh, no. I'm impressed with what they've done. At the same time, I don't think that they're an upper tier team or anything. Okay. I think that they're a mid team.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yes, so that's why I call them mid. Mid doesn't mean you suck. Mid just means that you're
just
middle of the road, kind of nondescript, but you can't take you lightly.
Nondescript. And now we've got a late hit in the Chargers-Raiders game on Justin Herbert, and there's a bit of a fracas breaking out between members of the Chargers and Raiders. This always happens. I'm just surprised it hasn't happened in the stands. It actually happened on the field. That actually is surprising.
it was with the players instead of the it was with the play. Dude, that's the thing I want to reiterate to fans, right? If you're at a game, don't fight, please, for the love. I mean, just please, for the love of humanity, don't fight. Consider this: as much as you love your team, right? You're willing to fight for your team. Why would you fight number one for somebody, number one, who's not paying you and who doesn't love you back necessarily? And then, so if the players aren't willing to fight, why would you be willing to fight over this?
I know.
Like, the players aren't willing to fight over it because they understand it's the NFL. You live to fight another day. There's another game tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but next week. There's another game. So don't sacrifice your freedom, in some people's case, their lives, or your ability to watch your team in person. Don't sacrifice that. That's nonsense. It's just have control over yourself and keep a watchful eye on those people around you. If you're not keeping a watchful eye on those people around you and de-escalating situations, you are as much a part of the problem as they are.
Jerry Tillery, the one who laid the late hit on Justin Herbert, has been ejected from the game.
What?
Yes, he has been tossed. It also looks like he was yelling something as he was walking off the field, but he's being escorted into the locker room. His day is done.
So did he throw? There's no way he got ejected just for that hit.
I don't know if he threw a punch into the skirmish that happened. But
yeah, after what he must have done something in the skirmish, because if Kyrie Jackson, if he didn't get ejected for the way that he hit the Washington Commanders tight end Thomas a week ago, then just a little extra sideline thump that didn't warrant it. He didn't plant him in the ground. He must have thrown a punch or something like that in that skirmish.
You also had Trent Williams throwing a punch, even though it was on a kneel down last week for the 49ers in that game against the Giants, when there was an official standing right there. So it had to have been a little bit more, but it also may be sending the message, knowing what rivalry is with these two teams, knowing what's going on or could be going on in the stands. I'm laughing when I'm saying it, George, but it is such a real thing. They have just panned the crowd, and now the Raider fans are like on their feet because they felt that they were wronged. And, Charger fans are really going to take kindly to that. So, I mean, this is what happens when the Raiders come back to L.A. and they face the Chargers. And speaking of those Chargers, they are in the end zone. Keenan Allen, a touchdown reception from Justin Herbert. So the Chargers have cashed in and now have a 16-7 lead with the extra point coming up. I mean, it is crazy. Your point about the fighting, George, is so correct. I don't even want to say that, I get it when there's opposing fans because of everything that you've said. What I find just amazing is when fans of the same team are punching each other. Like, there's a guy in a Roger Staubach jersey, fighting a guy in a Cowboys sweatshirt. Like, it's so weird. Like, you're on the same team. You all got together,
chill,
on the same day to go hang out and watch your favorite football team, and somehow you feel disrespected, and you got to throw, fists in the stands. It's absurd. It's awful. I hate it. It's so dumb. It's so ridiculous. And whoever's in the higher row fighting always has the advantage over the guy who's in the lower row of seats because of leverage.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And it is. No, it's absolutely absurd. Extra point was good. So the Chargers are up 17-7 in that contest. The Cardinals had a 4th and 7. They were just in the 49ers territory. Josh Dobbs was able to scramble. While he appeared short, about a half yard, replay reviewed the play, said that he got the first down on the scramble. So now the Cardinals are driving against the 49ers. It's a 14-0 lead for San Francisco on the heels of those 2 Christian McCaffrey touchdowns. But the Cardinals now have it 2nd down and 5 at the Niners' 20-yard line. 9 minutes to go until halftime. Cowboys just punted it back to the Patriots after getting a 4th down stop. Dallas couldn't do anything with it, so now New England will take over 1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line. There's a lot we need to get to. Whatever happened to Riverboat Ron? Some big injuries today in the National Football League. Plus, if the Niners aren't the best team in the National Football League, who does George think is on top? We'll talk about it next. He's George Reister, the NFL vet. Get him on Twitter.com or X.com, however you want to say it, at George Reister. I'm Dan Beyer. Hit me up at Dan Beyer on Fox. It's all next here on Fox Sports Radio.
On game day, we suit up too.
I'm in the lead.
By getting you ready.
It's Fox Sports Radio's countdown to kickoff.
By putting you in the red zone.
Scrambling, and then he's one into the end zone.
Where it's caught! Oh my goodness! And by recapping your day.
We're working through all of it tonight.
We're Fox Sports Radio.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter. Locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
The pandemic is over, but COVID-19 is here to stay. In fact, it's still among the top 5 leading causes of death in the U.S., just after heart disease and cancer. So this fall, stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like you do with the flu, because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-529-2856. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-529-2856. 800-529-2856 or biglou.com. Lou.com.
We've done the calculations. We've crunched the numbers. Our morning math is simple. 2 pros plus 1 Joe equals a butt-kicking combination.
They're like emotionally unstable zombies.
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn.
Everything felt really itchy.
And Jonas Knox.
I like it chunky.
What? Come on.
It's 2 pros and a cup of Joe. Kicking butt every morning. Weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific. On Fox Sports Radio.
They have a lot of fun things that go on in the morning.
This is the show that has two pros and a cup of Joe.
Who is Joe?
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox.
Lee, can you explain why the NFL, now, keep in mind, the NFL in the same week that, for whatever reason, Taylor Swift has taken the league by storm, which Brady laid out perfectly in his Good, the Bad, the Ugly this week. But it's disgusting what is happening with this Taylor Swift stuff. The NFL doesn't need it. Apparently, they're taking this thing a step further. So we've had the Nickelodeon game before, but the London game featuring the Calvin Ridley Bowl featuring the Jags and the Falcons. We've got what going on again?
We've got the Toy Story Fun Day Football, which is a simultaneously cast animated game taking place in Andy's room, if you know Toy Story. Yeah, using NFL's next-gen stats and tracking data to simultaneously play the game. So it's going to be all the players, all animated like Pixar characters, basically acting out the game in real time in Andy's room as basically toys.
Yeah, I don't know. Give me 11 on 11 and car accidents every single Sunday. That's all I need.
Well, that's not happening anymore.
I don't need the bells and whistles. I don't need this crap. Toy Story.
We're not getting the car accidents anymore.
God. So I just the Taylor Swift stuff, Nickelodeon games, Toy Story. Like, there's an aisle for that, and it's not the NFL. Move along.
The difference between the Taylor Swift crowd and the Nickelodeon or Toy Story is you're trying to take young people and then grow them to love the sport or like the sport in a certain capacity. The Taylor Swift thing's like...
To get the rest of LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox, podcast by searching Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Listen to Two Pros and a Cup of Joe weekdays from 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. The popular group of sports radio.
Popularity matters.
The cool kids.
Let's not overreact.
Steve Cavino.
I'm going for the clout, for the clicks.
Rich Davis.
To all the girls I've loved before.
It's Cavino and Rich.
Two nerds.
Really?
Putting the cool in sports.
I got kicked off of the Mets chat because I'm too positive of a guy.
Yeah. Weekdays from 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Worldwide leaders of nonsense.
Fox Sports Radio's lineup looks good.
Yeah.
Smoking hot.
Hotter than the roof of my mouth after my first bite of pizza.
Not to mention charming.
Hey, snot nose.
See it for yourself.
YouTube sensation.
Love it.
Check out our social media for thirst trap videos.
A thirst trap, I promise you.
And don't be shy. Hey. Leave us comments and tag us.
Look at us. We're waving at you right now.
Send me tweets.
It makes me feel good. At and on Fox Sports Radio.
3-2. He struck him out!
This October on Fox and FS1, the American League's biggest stars lead their teams in a fight for the crown. The AL postseason on Fox, FS1, and the Fox Sports app.
Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. I'm Dan Beyer. He's George Reister, the NFL vet. We've got scores throughout the NFL, and it looks like the Niners are in the end zone again, and it looks like Christian McCaffrey is in the end zone for the third time today. Welcome in. Hit George up at George Reister. You can find me at Dan Beyer on Fox as we are live from the TireRack.com studios. A second and goal for the Niners. This time Christian McCaffrey gets into the end zone on a pass. He would have been stopped short of the 1 yard line, but the defender tackled him on top of himself, and then McCaffrey rolled into the end zone. So they're going to take a look at it, but it does appear that Christian McCaffrey has scored for the third time today as the Niners look to extend their lead. The Chargers are knocking on the door. It's a third and goal from the 1 yard line. They're up on the Raiders. Justin Herbert tried to sneak it. This is a good yard, George. This wasn't a half-yard sort of deal. And now Herbert is about a half-yard short. I would expect the Bolts to try to cash in on the second turnover from Aiden O'Connell.
Who knows?
That is correct.
Who knows? He might kick an extra point. Right? I mean, he might kick a field goal from right here.
You never do know with Brandon Staley.
If he kicks a field goal from right here, bro, he would need his head. That's a fireable offense because even if they win, and the main reason is because you're just like, come on, bro, make up your mind. Who are you? Who are you?
Herbert did end up getting in. It helps when you're 6'5", I mean, he feels like he's closer to 6'7", honestly. But did the old...
there's nothing about Justin Herbert that is 6'5". I promise you. He is 6'6" and some change.
Ooh,
he's a big man.
Here's a question. When he reached initially, he thought he got in.
Oh, he did not.
Correct. And so now the replay goes. So on his initial reach,
I don't think he got in.
And he tucked it in, but George, there was no point where he was ever down, and because he is so.
No, he never got that ball over, bro. Yeah, and then it becomes a skirmish, and then you can't tell where the ball is, so you don't know if that's not.
and they kicked the extra point.
They did?
Yes, they did.
Oh, yeah. My Lord.
We got it.
Oh, they escaped.
Here's my thinking, though, on this call. And if you're driving in your car, it was 4th and goal at the half-yard line for the Chargers. And Herbert takes the ball. As we say he extends the ball, but it never touched the line. When he pulled it back, he was still not
angle, though.
The camera was right down the goal line. So when he pulls the ball back to protect it, he then is pushed forward, which then, I don't know, George, if they would say that it was inconclusive, that they couldn't tell if it was over or not at that second point. But that first point, you're 100% correct. He did not cross the plane, but because he's on top of bodies, and again, he's 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", and he just ended up being pushed forward. It was a very unlike, Jalen Hurts, when it happens to him, he just ends up being pushed forward and gets that extra yard.
Herbert was just pushing forward on that one.
No, he was just he was almost bent like upwards, which maybe allowed the ball to get across the goal line. But anyway, he's in the end zone. No point in arguing about that.
I gotta be honest, I'm not confident that ball got over.
I didn't think so either. I just don't know if they couldn't. I'm surprised they didn't review it. That's the whole point. They allowed the field goal to be kicked, or the extra point to be kicked immediately after. There was no stoppage. So the review must have been confirmed, or they wouldn't have been able to overturn what was the call on the field. The Cowboys ended up scoring, and then they ran a fake extra point and converted into a 2-point conversion. So they're up 18-3 on the Patriots. Niners up 21-3 on the Cardinals. 5:20 to go until halftime in Santa Clara. All Niners and all Christian McCaffrey so far. Today's show is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. The reason I asked you at the start of the show, George, on do you think San Francisco is the best team in the National Football League? Right now, their record would say they are obviously one of the best, and we think that their roster and their talent is one of the best, if not the best, in the NFL. But to your point, results on the field do matter. And that, to me, was what was so impressive about the Miami Dolphins leading up to this week, is what they had done on the field. They went to L.A., beat the Chargers. They then went to Foxborough and topped the Patriots, and then put 70 on the Denver Broncos last week. I am actually giving a pass to the Dolphins in week 4 in what happened in Buffalo today, but I do think now Buffalo is back into that conversation. That loss in week 1 seems so far away.
I'm not giving the Dolphins a pass. I think that I put them – that this loss honestly is more concerning to me than the Cowboys loss to the Cardinals.
The Dolphins lost today in Buffalo?
Yep.
Why is that?
Whoa, the sound of disappointment.
Yeah, because I don't believe it at all. I'm curious on this reasoning.
After I educate you on this, then I think you'll understand. So first thing is that the Dallas Cowboys were missing Zach Martin and another starting offensive lineman, right? And they moved the ball continuously. They were having trouble in the red zone. So like it wasn't like they just got completely stoned and shut down. They were missing a number of starters, particularly on the offensive line. Dak didn't have a lot of time. There was nowhere to run the ball. So like that's less concerning. Like that feels more like NFL season, weird outcome. You know what I mean? It happens. this Bills Dolphins, like, I'm not taking this as a indictment forever on the Dolphins, but it does play into does this offense travel and how important that this win is. Well, the win today could be for their home field advantage, which I do believe that if they want to come out of the AFC, they need home field advantage. I don't think that this offense is going to travel to Kansas City or Buffalo and be able to win. So like, that's why it's more concerning for me, because I think it's going to play into their playoff seeding, which could impact them getting home games. And I think that that's a bigger problem than the Cowboys losing to the Cardinals.
I hear everything you're saying. I don't agree with everything you're saying, but I also want to decipher something. You're basically telling me that you don't think Tua and their passing game can work in January, right? That's what you're telling
us. I just wanted to see it be good against a competitive team. And it's not even the fact that they lost. I don't even care that they lost. It was the fact that they weren't competitive. You see what I'm saying? That's the part that concerns me. If they lose this game, 35-24, and that's different. They got housed. It was 28-20. This game was non-competitive. Like, this was not very much different than what happened to the Raiders when the Raiders went up to Buffalo. And that was the part that's concerning. It's not the loss. It was the fashion in which they didn't compete. That's the part that I'm like, whoa, this like the weather was good. Everybody's healthy. I don't understand how you come up and you lay an egg in such a game. And I'm not even talking about the loss, Dan. It's the fact that they weren't competitive. That's the part that's concerning to me.
They didn't show up and lay an absolute egg from the get-go. As you said, it was a 28-20 game. I just think they ran out of gas. And if I do have a concern about the Dolphins,
it was 31-14 at halftime,
which I do think that it happened. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. But at one point, I thought that you said that the score was 28-20.
No.
But it was back and forth. What was that?
No, I was saying if it had been 24-35 to like in the,
it was 21-14. They matched early scores because Achane scored early. They scored on the first two drives, and then it kind of ended up stalling. They had a turnover. Buffalo turned it into points. I'm not concerned about that. Listen, you're not gonna be high octane every single a week scoring 70 points.
Nope.
I just think, again, like, their schedule that they were given, not easy. And at some point, water does find its level, or maybe you run out of gas. And I think that's what happened with the Dolphins. I think it just kind of ran out of gas today. And then Buffalo was primed in this game, primed to take it to them. They have a lot to prove. Dolphins came in hot. If I'm a Dolphins fan, or I'm looking at the Dolphins with, concern, it's with the defense that just gave up 48 points, or the one that gave up 34 points to the Chargers, or, that is my question, because that's what Vic Fangio was brought in to do. I don't have the concerns that you have for their offense. I actually think that will all work.
I love their offense. I think that their offense is tremendous.
But you don't think it's going to travel on the road?
I'm saying that this gave me concern that it wasn't competitive. That's the part that is concerning to me. It's not that I think that the Dolphins are bad. I still think that they're one of the best teams in the league. Had they lost this game and it been competitive, I still would have probably put them at number one in the league still, even after that, because of San Francisco's competition so far. I still probably would have had them number one or number two in the league. But like now I'm like, oh wow, like how is this going to travel? My antennas are my concern level raised from a 1 to like, okay, I'm at like a right now, as far as like there's more doubt than there was heading into the game.
I think when you look at what they have done, they did a heck of a lot, as you said, enough where you would put them in the number one spot. Today was just more about Buffalo. That's all it was. Wasn't it?
Okay.
It wasn't an indictment on,
I got a question
Miami.
for you, Dan.
It was
how many games this year do you believe that San Francisco won't be competitive in?
I think that I'll put it this way. I think that they'll throw a stinker up once or twice. There'll be a stinker.
A stinker, and it probably is a game
because they're built differently. Like their defense is going to be able to keep them in the games if the offense and the running game isn't going and Brock Purdy's off. That's what I think is going to happen. They may lose a game by 10 points. They may not play their best game, but that's how I think it's going to happen for the 49ers. I don't think they're going to have a game where they give up 48 points like the Dolphins, and that's why the Dolphins' defense is my concern.
Well, whatever the concern is, obviously it's not just the offense. The defense gave up 48 points, so it's not just the offensive issue going on. The defense was out there giving everything away for the free.
Yeah, that's my whole point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That it's not just the offense. It's the entire team. It's the entire team.
Their offense carried up to 70 points in last week.
Well, they gave up. Well, now I know that they're also capable.
Judge
of
Monty now presiding. All rise. Enter the room.
Absolutely. Did you not just see me crying, Dan, over Miguel Cabrera? Like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about, okay?
I wanted Monty to rule
on Mickey's last game.
It is, and they just did a whole thing in the 8th inning, and it was I couldn't handle it.
I was in the control room saluting the whole time.
I just was crying.
Thanks for paying attention to this show, guys.
Yeah. No, sorry.
Appreciate it.
Miguel Cabrera, 20
I'm
years.
not crying. You're crying.
I am crying. That's the whole thing. And I was like, Ryan looked over, started laughing. I was like, I can't.
This is also
you deserve to be laughed at, Monty.
This is also 10 minutes ago.
I know,
so
but still.
Let's go.
I'm still watching
Monty,
that.
how long have you had to prepare for this?
For what? To figure out which of you two is right about the Dolphins?
No. To knowing you have known this entire season that Miguel Cabrera was retired.
This is correct. And what?
Okay, so why today? So why the waterworks today?
Because they did a whole ceremony for him. Come on, it's like when Kobe had his last game. You know it's coming. That doesn't mean that you can prepare for it unless it's in front of you happening. In fact,
I did cry at Kobe's last game, but it was because he scored 60, and then the fashion that he did it, which at the end of the game, had he just gone out and it been like the first quarter for the rest of the game, no way I cry. But it was him hitting shot after shot and game winner. That was the part that got me.
Okay, so I'm more emotional than you. If that's fine.
I just wanted Monty to rule on who was actually saying the Dolphins' defense was.
Tell him, Monty.
Again, both of you in some way, but not really.
She wasn't listening at all.
I wasn't.
Not listening at all.
I was not. I was listening and not listening. Yeah. But let me. I was watching Christian McCaffrey. I was watching Christian McCaffrey literally carry my fantasy teams. He's got 3 touchdowns so far in the air, on the ground. It doesn't matter. 49ers all over the Cardinals, 21-3. 2 minutes to go in the first half. The Cowboys all over the Patriots as well. Even though the Patriots did just hold the Cowboys in the red zone, they weren't able to get a touchdown out of it. They had to get a field goal. So Dallas Cowboys up 21-3. 4 minutes to go in the first half. And you guys were talking about that Raiders-Chargers game that you couldn't believe that Jerry Tillery would be ejected for that late hit on Justin Herbert. That's exactly what it was. There was no other reason. It was just on that late hit. Justin Herbert was clearly out of bounds, they're saying, and he hit him. So that's the only reason he was ejected. Nothing happened in the scuffle. That scuffle was because of the late hit, but he didn't do anything. He didn't say anything. It was literally just from the hit. The Chargers, though, are beating the Raiders 24-7. 30 seconds to go in the first half. Raiders star wide receiver Devontae Adams went to the locker room with a shoulder injury. He is questionable to return. A lot of games happened today, 10 actually. The Eagles remain undefeated. They had to survive against the Commanders. 34-31 was the final score in overtime. The Rams also survived against the Colts, who erased a 23-point deficit, coming out on top 29-23 in OT. You guys were just talking about the Dolphins, but it was all Bills. 48-20 was the final. Texans dominated the Steelers 30-6. There is a Steelers reporter online that said that Mike Tomlin was asked if there were going to be changes, and his response, hell yeah, there's going to be changes. The Buccaneers beat the Saints 26-9. The Ravens topped the Deshaun Watson-less Browns 28-3. Broncos erased a 21-point deficit and beat the Bears 31-29. Chicago is 0-4. And the Bears apparently asked wide receiver Chase Claypool to stay home. He didn't have a choice. They just told him, stay home. Is that story. The Titans with a 27-3 victory over the Bengals. There's a video of Jamar Chase on social media right now saying to the reporters, I'm open. I'm always bleeping open.
Well, that's any wide receiver ever in the NFL.
Vikings won their first game of the season, beating the Panthers 21-13. Carolina 0-4. And in London, the Jaguars defeated the Falcons 23-7. A lot going on in the NBA, guys, also. I'm sure you heard of it.
Yes.
In the NBA, Drew Holiday was a Blazer for a hot second. They're trading him to the Boston Celtics in exchange for Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, Golden State's 2024 first-round pick, and the Celtics' unprotected 2029 first-round pick. Major League Baseball, Buck Showalter announced that he will not return as the Mets manager.
And where are we with everything in the standings and the wild card matchup?
So here's
that is important today. So
yes, you'll let me. Okay,
yeah.
The AL West division. So the Mariners just beat the Rangers 1-0. Last I checked, the Astros were up against the Diamondbacks 8-0 in the 8th inning. 8-1. Okay, in the 8th inning. Thank you. If they win, they're going to be technically tied. The Astros win the division over the tiebreak.
Wow.
Right? Ain't that nuts?
Oh, man.
Nuts.
And the Mariners, nothing to play for.
Nothing to do, and
nothing
they beat them 1-0.
And they could have had sour grapes for not making it into the postseason.
Yep.
So...
No, you can't have sour grapes after you play 162 games and you didn't make the playoffs.
Well, when you're eliminated in game 161, I think you have reason to be like annoyed for the next day.
No, you don't. The only people that you should be salty with is yourself. That means that 30 games ago, 50 games ago, 100 games ago, 10 games ago, you should have won. Like I have no sympathy when people are like, oh my God, we missed the playoffs by one game. You played 162 of them. Instead of losing 74 of them, maybe lose 70 of them and you cruise in.
Monty, you have carte blanche to do any baseball updates that you've got. So anything with the playoff picture is set,
please.
Or we know, please let us know here on Fox Sports Radio.
Will do.
All right, hit her up at Monty Bolaños. He's George Reister. Hit him up at George Reister. You can find me at Dan Beyer on Fox. All I'm saying with this was you said that you didn't think the Dolphins game was going to travel in January. And
yes.
I took that as saying that you didn't think Tua and their offense could do what they do in January.
No, I was referring to the whole team.
In the cold. But their defense hasn't shown that they can do anything right now. It's just their offense has just been so darn good that it helped them to 3-0. Like their defense has just kind of been along for the ride. And then today you face a primed Bills team. And the other point about this, George, conversation is that Jets Monday night game seems so long ago for the Bills. And it's not that the Bills have beaten, superpowers, but you mentioned they bounced back, beating the Raiders. They ended up taking care of business with ease against the Commanders last week. And now they take it to the Dolphins where Josh Allen looked like he was the Josh Allen of old.
Yeah, you have to throw week one results in the trash can because the majority of these players barely played in the preseason. So I don't put a lot of stock in week ones, but starting in week 2+, that's when I start counting because like week ones are just that. Like there's not a lot of practice time and full speed time that's been had. Quarterbacks are still getting their timing, defenses. It's after you start there because teams make the biggest improvement from week 1 to week 2. Like you're going to make a larger jump in that week than you are in any other individual week. So that's where you really pay attention to teams. Like take, for instance, the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that Chris Jones and Travis Kelce were out, so they got an additional bump in week 2, but they also got a chance to figure things out, figure out people's roles, who was going to be who in this offense. And now you see they're playing significantly better.
And Taylor Swift's going to their games.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
That's a
Zach
whole other.
I didn't mean Zach Wilson. I meant Mac Jones.
Yeah, it's pick 6 in Dallas. Cowboys getting into the end zone defensively. The Cardinals have just gotten into the end zone against the 49ers. Michael Wilson, the touchdown reception on the pass from Josh Dobbs. So we have 2 scores. Cardinals getting within 11. Cowboys cashing in. Now have an opportunity to go up 25.
So is that a diss, Dan? If I accidentally called him if I accidentally called Mac Jones, there was
there was a reason you did it, George. There was a reason that you did it. That's
I
all.
actually think that Mac Jones is going to be all right, and the Jets don't need to give up on him.
Wait, Zach Wilson's going to be that and
yes.
the Jets? Okay, you said Mac Jones.
Oh well, oh God, they're like the same person apparently in my mind.
That could be a discussion for later on here on Fox Sports Red Zone Radio, but we do need to take a timeout because we've got fantasy numbers on the other side, plus most of our action heading into halftime, so we're going to take a timeout as well. He's George Reister. I'm Dan Beyer. We're live from the TireRack.com studios. It's week 4 in the NFL, and Mike Tomlin said there should be some changes. You're darn right there should be, and we'll tell you where next year on Fox Sports Radio.
Let's go play! Before kickoff.
There's a lot on the line today.
In the red zone.
Fox Sports Red Zone Radio on a Fox Football Sunday.
And in the locker room.
Down 14 points in their fourth quarter, but nobody blinked. Stuck together.
Your NFL Sundays start and end here on Fox Sports Radio.
Oh, that's hard.
Yo, J Balvin here. Verizon just hooked me up with a new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium. How can you get one? By switching to my plan at your Verizon store, get the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro on them. When you trade in any iPhone, any model, any condition, guaranteed. And listen to my new song, Dientes, on your way to get the new iPhone 15 Pro.
Don't miss out. Switch to my plan from Verizon today. It's your Verizon. $999.99, 128 gigabyte only. Device payment purchase or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in or promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR.
Klein tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brands and quality products, and Klein Tools delivers. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece ModBox mobile workstation for $319.94 and the Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set for just $34.97, both exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brand at Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
There are some shows you don't want to miss.
Anyway, it's a big story.
And there are some shows you can't miss.
Yes!
This is Covino and Rich.
I think you guys buried the headline, though, when you were talking about Southwest.
Yeah.
We had a rookie pilot, I think, because when you say touchdown, we touched down.
You know what, dude? I'm so glad you brought that up.
I loved it because Spot was sleeping and he was like, whoa! Watching Spot jump made my morning.
Dude, we bounced.
It was we bounced, baby, bounce.
No, we got
Burning
airtime.
hop.
Yeah, we got airtime for sure. When we landed today, it was a nice, peaceful flight. No crazy turbulence to get me nervous. Because it seems like turbulence has gotten worse. And articles say that the wind patterns are only going to get worse in the future. So turbulence is just the way of the world.
Here to stay.
Here to stay, getting worse. But when we landed, we hit so hard that it bounced. The plane bounced. And, Danny G and I weren't even sitting next to each other, but everybody looked at each other like, whoa, what was that?
Oh, snap.
Yeah, but we made it. Very pumped about it.
Could you imagine Ramos being on that plane?
Oh, dude,
or John Madden?
That's why Ramos isn't here with us.
I'll tell you this, Ramos, you're not a flyer, correct?
I don't hit the airlines, no.
I don't hit the airlines. I have a question for you, Ramos. What if, because I asked Danny G this as we were strolling through the airport here in Las Vegas. I said, what if there was a gig, Fox Sports Radio, another network, some broadcasting gig where it's like, Ramos, we're going to quadruple your salary, but Monday through Friday, you got to take the half-hour flight to and from Vegas every day.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably say this.
Oh, my God!
Hey, this is Cheech. And this is Chong, and you're listening to Covino and Rich, so listen up.
To get the rest of what Covino and Rich said, podcast it by searching Covino and Rich. And as always, you can hear Covino and Rich weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
It's a bird! It's a plane!
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick. Yeah!
Matt LaFleur, the Packers head coach, not in a good mood after this question.
It happens when you have to cause a first half like that, where you got nothing.
I mean, we suck, Pete. I mean, we got our kicked. If I knew, it wouldn't have happened.
Matt, they didn't blitz until the last.
That's a BS question, man.
No, it's not. What happened in the first half? There's a trend happening, Coach. Against the Saints, you were down 17-0. Against the Lions, you're down 27-3. Coach, what's the problem? I mean, may not like it, but that's a fair question to ask there, Coach. Absolutely. Yeah.
You saw it, Joe. We got off to a slow start.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
This show is different.
The Doug Gottlieb Show.
Make him say, make him say,
Ladies and gentlemen.
We're somehow in this place where Ryan Fitzpatrick said that Jared Goff is like, what did he say? It was like a little poor man's Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was MVP of the NFL. Matt Ryan had a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan was a really, really good, notch below Hall of Fame level quarterback. And that's exactly what Jared Goff is. He's good. I get this all the time, like, you're a poor man's Cowherd. Thank you. Colin Cowherd's arguably the greatest person to ever put on a headset or talk into a microphone and do sports radio. If I'm Jared Goff, I'm being compared to a former NFL MVP who played in the Super Bowl, was the starting quarterback for a decade in Atlanta. By all means, compare me all you want.
The Doug Gottlieb Show. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Who the f*** wants smoke?
The people have spoken, and they love our lineup.
We're the best!
Colin Cowherd, Dan Patrick, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, Jonas Knox, Doug Gottlieb, Ben Maller.
Listen to these names.
Rob Parker, Chris Broussard, Jason Smith, and Mike Harmon.
Boom!
We're always on, from the mornings to the late nights. We are Fox Sports Radio, the premier sports lineup in the nation. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. He's George Reister, the NFL vet. I'm Dan Beyer, hanging out with you on week 4 of the NFL season. Cowboys up on the Patriots 28-3. There's 10 seconds left in the first half. Cowboys trying to get in the field goal range. They do have timeouts available, so they've got the field, the whole field to use if they need, but would need about 17 yards if they want to get into field goal range to add points. But they got enough of them already, up 28-3 on the Patriots again nearing halftime. The Chargers lead the Raiders 24-7 at the half. Aiden O'Connell with the start today for Las Vegas. Justin Herbert has 2 touchdown runs, and the Niners have taken a 21-10 lead against the Cardinals into the halftime, into the locker room. Cardinals scoring late to make that an 11-point game. Let's get a quick.
Mac Jones is having a bad game.
Mac Jones is having a tough game. Aiden O'Connell's having a tough start to his NFL career, starting for the Chargers. And the Cardinals are only down 11. Niners are obviously a physical team. Cardinals trying to match it, but Josh Dobbs has done very well in his first 3 weeks of the season and doing a decent job for the Cardinals. So our bad quarterbacking look right now is on a guy who's starting his first NFL game, which is understandable. And then you also have, as George said, Mac Jones, who's just having a tough one. But there was no competition for Mac Jones.
Dude, there's so much. There's none, because he had a fumble. He got tackled from the back, and not just on like a regular sack. He was running, so like you got to protect the ball in that scenario. Fumble 6 and a late throw across your body all the way across the field, pick 6. Yeah, it's not going well. And there was so much debauchery today. I mean, I don't even know where to start.
I'll tell you what, the Cowboys right now are going to go for a field goal that would be from 66 yards. So they did complete a pass to get across midfield. 3 seconds left. They're up 28
Who is
to
this
3.
dude? Is this
Pass to Jake Ferguson got them into field
No,
goal
I'm
range.
asking. They're trying a 66-yard kick, bro. Is this Oh my gosh! For the Ravens.
Yeah, Justin Tucker.
Yes.
Yeah, Brandon Aubrey's the kicker for the Cowboys.
But isn't it crazy though how the game continues to evolve? Where like 50-yard field goals used to be like, I don't know if we want to attempt this 50-yarder, and now like you see 60-yarders being attempted every single week.
Sure.
How long before we have and 66 is the record now, and these dudes are getting bigger and bigger, and like they're practicing younger, and like the old kicker on my son's high school football team, he has no problem kicking off the ground from 50, and he was a sophomore in high school, and now he's a junior. So like how long before we start seeing like 70-yard kicks?
Well, we've already saw that attempt. Remember, Lane Kiffin had Sebastian Janikowski go out and kick a 77-yarder.
Yeah,
that was
that
like
was a
20
very
yards
long
short.
time.
I know.
But I'm saying
no, I know. I was just making
long
it,
60s are common.
I was making
and then
a
we
joke.
get a 70.
Yeah, I was just making a joke about it because it was so absurd when it happened. Let's quick get a look at the fantasy numbers. Cowboys are not going to kick the field goal. They're going to run a play. Bursch is here with some fantasy updates.
Say go, go, go! Fantasy hits and misses.
All right, what do you got, Bursch, in week 4?
Well, we are looking at the early games here. Quarterback 1 on the week now, Josh Allen, 21 of 25 passing for 320 yards and 4 touchdowns through the air. Also had 4 rushes for 17 yards and a touchdown on the ground. And worth mentioning, hope you didn't give up on Justin Fields just yet. 28 of 35 passing for 335 yards, a career high, 4 passing touchdowns, did throw an interception, 4 rushes for 25 yards on the ground. So good work, Justin Fields. You've gotten back into fantasy relevance this week. Top scoring running back from the early games is Kyren Williams. Christian McCaffrey, though, has already passed him in just a half a play. Kyren Williams' numbers, 25 rushes for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. 3 catches on 3 targets for 24 yards through the air. And Christian McCaffrey will give you his numbers so far. 10 rushes for 53 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, 4 catches on 4 targets for 40 yards and a touchdown through the air. Your top scoring receiver of the day, Stephon Diggs, 6 catches on 7 targets, 120 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just a couple quick misses here. Kirk Cousins, 12 of 19 for 132 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, did throw 2 interceptions. Chris Olave, 1 catch on 6 targets for 4 yards, and those are some fantasy hits.
Yeah, that was a rough one. Derek Carr threw it a lot. It just didn't go anywhere. Thank you very much, Ryan Bershinger. Hit him up at Ryan Bershinger. They're underway in the second half. Chargers up on the Raiders 24-7, and the Chargers have just forced a punt. Cowboys ended up taking a knee, George, so they go into half up 28-3 on the Patriots. And again, the Niners and Cards still in the locker room at 21-10 at the half in favor of San Francisco. He's George. I'm Dan. Next, what does Mike Tomlin need to do to turn things around for the Pittsburgh Steelers? We'll talk about it next.
Are you a business owner in need of financing? Then you need Swish Funding, the better way to get the funding you need. Our simple application process takes just minutes, with funding as soon as 1 business day. At Swish Funding, we focus on your business cash flow, not your personal credit score. And we're ready to help with funding from $5,000 to $5 million. If you've been in business for 1 year and have monthly revenue of at least $25,000, you could get the affordable funding you need with no collateral. At swishfunding.com. That's SWISH funding.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1. And now, here's a little something that you missed from the Ben Maller Show.
This thing is going to drag on and on. Here we go. Justin Jefferson is a great player. That's kind of an obvious statement to make, but he is still relatively new to the hustle and bustle of the NFL. Well, I know the history and all, but this is an education situation. The GM there, Mr. Mensah, Adolfo Mensah of the Minnesota football team, he has described this year as a, quote, competitive rebuild. All right, competitive rebuild. That is what's known as a silent whistle, which is not eloquent silence. It's a silent whistle for multitasking on the field and off. Meaning the GM in Minnesota, Adolfo Mensah, has opened up Pandora's box to speculation. When you are losing, like the Vikings are, even if it's close, you're still losing. You are setting yourself up for an all-inclusive getaway, resort-style living. And being at one of these resorts, trade rumors are part of the package. Especially when your GM says competitive rebuild. That means you're trying to kind of win, but if it doesn't go so well, you're okay opening up the garage and having a little garage. The Vikings have committed an NFL high 9 turnovers. They need a flea bath at this point. They've lost 3 games, all by 1 score. So this is where the dumb fan says, well, yeah, they're close. They're close. Of course, as a gambler...
To get the rest of what Big Ben said, podcast it by searching The Ben Maller Show. And as always, you can hear The Ben Maller Show weekdays from 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
Finally, the Padres have gotten eliminated. The Padres are like the mass killer from a movie who you think they're dead, they're not dead. No, they're really dead now. No, they're not dead. Well, they're eliminated. All these articles coming out about what a bad influence Manny Machado is. Things aren't going well. We're going to have to break that team up. Yeah, no, still alive. They won 8 in a row. Now, finally, the Padres are eliminated. But when they got eliminated, I felt good because the Mets and the Padres are the same. They're both teams that thought we can just spend a ton of money, throw a bunch of guys out there, and we're just going to win. And if the Padres had won and gotten in, it would show that the Mets really didn't know what they were doing.
They really don't.
So now I kind of like the fact that, well, the Mets are out and the Padres are out, so the Padres sit right next to me for the postseason.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Ben Maller, the big dog.
I am the greatest effing clown.
Ben Maller, the man with all the answers.
And anyone who says otherwise is an absolute idiot.
Ben Maller, the after-hours specialist.
This is the definition of stepping into it.
It's the Ben Maller Show.
So I've got 3 Stooges, Alanis Morissette, and Jersey Mike.
Weeknights at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Kaboom! FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1. And here's what you need to know.
We know who won the AL West Division in Major League Baseball. The Mariners beat the Rangers 1-0, and the Astros defeated the Diamondbacks 8-1. Houston wins the tiebreak, wins the AL West Division, and the Rangers get a wild card. So the Twins will face the Blue Jays in a best-of-3 series at Target Field starting Tuesday, and the Rangers will face the Rays on Tuesday as well. Right now in the NFL, 3 games going on. Christian McCaffrey with a hat trick for the 49ers, a couple of touchdowns on the ground, 1 in the air, and the 49ers are beating the Cardinals 21-10, and they're about to start the 3rd quarter. The Cowboys have been all over the Patriots, including a pick 6 over Mac Jones. They are up 28-3 at half, and the Chargers are beating the Raiders at home 24-7 early in the 3rd quarter. I'm Monsi Bolaños.
This It's Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
Let's go get these guys in 30 minutes, huh?
Recapping the early games.
Touchdown!
And bringing you the hits and plays that are going down now.
Stick Sparta, fire week. Stick Sparta, fire week.
Let's go! Go!
Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
Hey, look where we are, though. We're in the red zone. We got to put every ball in the end zone.
Now, live from the TireRack.com studios of Fox Sports Radio, here's Dan Beyer and 6-year NFL tight end George Reister.
Niners and Cards are in the second half, just underway in Santa Clara. Brock Purdy has yet to throw an incomplete pass in this game. Jared Monty say they're up 11, one of 3 games that we are keeping our eye on in this late window in week 4. We are broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com will help you get there. An unmatched selection, fast free shipping, free road hazard protection, and over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Niners were a big favorite today. They continue to lead against the Cardinals by 11. Chargers up on the half, or at the half on the Raiders. Actually just underway in the second quarter. Raiders getting the football back down 17. They are at the half in Dallas. Cowboys up big on New England. So a lot of stuff holding serve. George, you were about to say something?
Yeah, that you brought up that Cardinals 49ers game, right?
Yep.
And how Brock Purdy's playing. And then you look at how Joshua Dobbs is playing, commensurate with the defense that he's playing against and how he's been playing all year. How would you judge how he's playing all year?
Josh Dobbs?
Yeah.
Very well.
Okay.
He exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, not only is he exceeding expectations, he's actually playing pretty doggone well, especially consider his team stinks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, like, he looks like he can be a real NFL starter. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, I think
that he could be.
Yeah.
All right. So, if you're the Cardinals and you're at this point in this season, the way this season is going, if money were not withstanding, what would you do with this quarterback situation?
Would I choose Joshua Dobbs over Kyler Murray?
Not necessarily choose him, but what you're like, you're not
Sure.
going to the playoffs. You obviously got rid of a bunch of players. You're in the middle of a full rebuild. What would you do if the contracts were not involved?
I would be looking to move on from Kyler Murray.
Okay. So that's exactly what I believe that would be done if it weren't the situation. And that doesn't mean that Kyler stinks. It just means that he's making so much money and he can't help you in the way that you need him to help you because the team's so bad. So it's like, you know, it's a tough situation. But then you got Joshua Dobbs who's coming in and he's the underdog. He's playing well. The team is galvanized. It feels like he matches your situation a little bit better, but you can't move on from Kyler. Kyler's on the 4th year of his rookie deal. They've already picked up his 5th-year extension. That extension that he signed doesn't even start until after next season. So, like, it's virtually impossible to move Kyler, just like it's impossible to move Russell Wilson in Denver. So the Cardinals are actually in a tougher spot than I think that people really want to or have talked about because of their quarterback situation and the way Dobbs is looking right now.
Well, I think, and I honestly would even take Josh Dobbs out of the equation when you were looking at the Cardinals. Even before he was playing as he's playing right now, George, I think that the Cardinals had a question. They had a decision to make, which is crazy because of everything you laid out when they gave Kyler Murray the contract that they did. They didn't have to do it at that time, even though he was unhappy. Like, it seemed like they were so forced into doing it, and it just didn't make a lot of sense.
Well, they gave Steve Keim a new deal. They gave Cliff Kingsbury a new deal. And, I mean, which is crazy, being that both of those two dudes were gone the same year that
Sure.
they got an extension. And now you're in a situation with dead money and all this stuff with Kyler. And I think that Kyler is more suited. Like, he's not a rebuild guy. Like he's not. And I mean, and you want to rebuild with a younger quarterback. And I know that Josh Dobbs is 28 years old, but he's young in terms of how much he's played in the league. So,
well,
it'll be very interesting.
I also think that when you talk about Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, there have been ups, there have been downs, but you're also got a guy coming off of a knee injury. You don't know how much that is going to affect his agility, speed, and mobility, which is a huge part of his game, especially considering his size. Like it is a big question. It's not like he's going to be, stuck in the pocket there, George. But what makes Kyler Murray is his ability to move, elude defenders, because he can't sit back and drop back in the pocket and throw it 45, 50 times. It's just not going. It's not his game. It's not his size. That doesn't work. So now you're coming off of that knee injury. How much is that going to be compromised? Is a question.
I don't think it'll be compromised at all. Only because when we see running backs, wide receivers, and other skill position players come back from ACLs, it's not a negative impact on them.
Okay, but you don't think that Kyler Murray will be affected at all by coming back from a major knee injury, that he will be the same Kyler Murray that he was before?
I mean, obviously there's a little bit of of ring rust.
Yeah. Okay. And
initially,
let's go like 2 years from now. Like, is there more?
None. Zero.
No rust. But
None.
You know what? He's a little bit older. He's probably taking a few more hits. Maybe he doesn't move as quickly anymore.
Well, that's just age. I'm saying
absolutely.
that this knee injury is not going to have any impact on
George,
on,
but
on
you're,
his athleticism.
You're asking me about the future of the Cardinals and what they would want to do and what's going to be in their decision. And I think that, it's part of it. I'm not comparing him to Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson is older, but Russell Wilson is now in his mid-30s. Obviously, he doesn't run like Russell Wilson used to run.
Nope.
He does not. And he is a different quarterback because of that. And that's my point with Kyler Murray, where there are things with Kyler Murray that there may be weaknesses in his game. And one of his strengths is mobility and moving around, and now some of that may be compromised. And I think you can only play a certain way with Kyler Murray. And I don't know if that's the way that the Cardinals want to play. So Josh Dobbs is doing great. Josh Dobbs filled in for the Titans. Remember when Malik Willis couldn't throw passes and they needed somebody to throw passes for them? So he came in and took over and fared really well for them. Josh Dobbs is not the long-term answer, but I don't know if Kyler Murray is either for the Arizona Cardinals, is what I'm saying.
Yes. Now that I can agree with. So here's what I would do. If I were and mind you, I have been on record as saying that the Jets' best option for this season is Zach Wilson. It is. Like there's no other option that gives them a better chance to win this year. However, though, if I were them and I were trying to and if Zach Wilson puts up another 2 stinkers, right? Then two stinkers, not just one, because I need him to play a little bit better this week, and then the next week after they play a vicious defense. So I'm not going to count that one. But two more stinkers, or if I am a team that feels like I'm quarterback hungry, dude, I am calling up Arizona and I'm trying to trade for Josh Dobbs as soon as they put Kyler Murray back in. I'm like, yo, I will give you a 3rd round pick to make my season work.
Well, that's I don't know if Kyler Murray is going to be back in. I don't know. Like you've got injury guarantees that would make me apprehensive to wanting to play him. There's also the point though that if you are the Cardinals and you wanted to move on from Kyler Murray this offseason, even with the huge numbers that you were talking that they would take with the dead money, I think there's going to be a team that wants to know if Kyler Murray is, fully 100% healed and back from that knee injury. So I think that is a decision that the Cardinals would have to make as well.
The dead money this year, if I'm reading this correctly, Dan, it's not. Oh my God! After this season, so it's like 81.5.
Wow.
Yeah,
it was a bad
no way.
idea. It was a bad idea to do the deal. Raiders, by the way, driving, but they were unable to convert on a third down, so they're going to have to settle for a field goal from Daniel Carlson. That is good.
But the next year it's only 33.2. So, but his deal does have to get redone probably next year because after this season, because his cap hit next year is $51.8 million. And that's when the deal just finally starts. So, oh my Lord.
There's
heaven.
decisions that are going to have to be made for the Cardinals, but they're not going to have to make them in week 4. There are decisions Mike Tomlin's going to have to make for the Steelers. This is what Tomlin said after today's loss, where the Steelers fell in Houston to the C.J. Stroud-led Texans by a score of 30-6. Here's the Steelers head coach.
Will you contemplate any changes, or is it still too early?
Hell yeah, we got to make some changes, man. That was an ugly product we put out there today, and so we're not going to do the same things and hope for a different outcome. What those changes are, man, we'll put together a plan in preparation.
I had high hopes for the Steelers this year.
Me too.
I thought Kenny Pickett was going to take the next step. Does not seem like that has happened. Actually, it has not happened. The running game is even worse than we thought, but the running game was actually the only thing they got going a little bit today, which allowed them to get their massive 6 points against the Houston Texans. It's a bit of a mess. I mean, they didn't look great against the Raiders in their win that they had on Sunday night, but I think you're at the point as well. Like if we're having conversations about Zach Wilson's future, and I know we'll dive into that in a little bit, but if you're the Steelers and you're looking at your quarterback situation, and Kenny Pickett did go down with a knee injury today. I don't think it's major, but he did have to be replaced by Mitchell Trubisky in a game that was kind of out of hand anyway. The question is how much do you really have invested for a guy that was picked mid to late first round? And I think that your investment here, and I know you have an extra year for it, but if he's not the guy or there's only a certain ceiling, and I think the same can be said for Mac Jones, that I think you can move on from guys a little bit quicker than maybe you would need to. And I don't think Mitchell Trubisky starts, the next game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think that happens, and I don't think that's going to be a fix-all.
They better trade for Joshua Dobbs back.
But you got a game against Baltimore coming up next week, division rival. And if it's as ugly as it is today, now you got some serious questions. It's not that the division is out of hand and out of reach. Cincinnati's having an awful start to the year. Cleveland lost to the Ravens today. However, I just expected a lot from Pittsburgh, and it's not there. And honestly, they haven't really shown me anything in these first 4 weeks of the season.
Bro, the offense is bad. For the Steelers, I mean, the offense is so bad, and the defense is actually pretty good. If you had put a competent offense out there for the Steelers, they would look like the Cleveland Browns. Like in terms of one of the best D's in the league, but the offense is so incredibly bad for the Steelers. They're putting them in bad. They're putting the defense in bad situations. Like if you give the Steelers like you don't even have to give them the Dolphins offense. If you give them the 49ers offense, they're going to look exactly like the 49ers.
I don't know about that. CJ Stroud carved them up today. You don't have Cam Hayward. I think that's a big part of it. They just aren't what I thought they were. I thought they were going to be good defensively. I thought that was, and I thought, hey, Kenny Pickett takes that next step. Watch out! I picked him to win the AFC North, and it has been anything but. But they can't run it.
They can't run the football. They're not throwing it at a high level. The offensive line you thought was going to be way better is not. This is a situation where it's just not working. And I don't think that that's an indictment on whether Mike Tomlin is a good coach or not, but they need an entire reset. Like if I'm Tomlin, I am making wholesale offensive changes, like wholesale. Like we got to figure out a new way to do this.
And
a new way.
He's got one thing that many coaches around the NFL do not have, and that's job security. Because we've seen how the Steelers handle their head coaches throughout time, whether it be Noel, Cowher, or Tomlin. he actually has the ability to do that if he wanted to. I don't think it's to that point yet with Pittsburgh, but I think it's a lot closer than people maybe think, because today was an absolute stinker. And if you take what they've done in the first 3 weeks of the season, George, it doesn't make me think that things are going to get drastically better anyway. Cardinals, by the way, driving. They are in 49ers territory. San Francisco up 21-10 in that contest with 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. The Cardinals are facing a 3rd and 2 from the Niners' 14-yard line. Chargers have the football up 14 on the Raiders, 24-10, 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, while the Cowboys continue to lead the Patriots 28-3. Dallas with the football near midfield, looking to add on in what is right now a decisive lead over New England. He's George Reister. I'm Dan Beyer. We talk with our NFL insider. And what happened to Riverboat Ron? Where'd he go? That's next on Fox.
NFL Sundays live here.
2nd and 10. Jones is back, throws back to the edge, intercepted. Deron Bland, call the house. Hello, house. House, it's me, Deron. Hello, house. Touchdown.
It's your NFL Sunday. We're Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox. I just learned Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you earned doubled. All the cash back from eating at your favorite soup dumpling restaurant doubled. All the cash back from that trip where you sort of learned how to snowboard also doubled. And the best part, you don't have to do anything ridiculous to get it. Nope, Discover does it automatically. Seriously, though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Yo, J Balvin here. Verizon just hooked me up with a new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium. How can you get one? By switching to my plan at your Verizon store, get the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro on them. When you trade in any iPhone, any model, any condition, guaranteed. And listen to my new song, Dientes, on your way to get the new iPhone 15 Pro.
Don't miss out. Switch to my plan from Verizon today. It's your Verizon. $999.99, 128 gigabyte only. Device payment purchase or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in or promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text LION to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text LION to 321321. That's LION to 321321. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details. Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. And right now you can save $375 off every window and $750 off every door. Just text SHINE to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text SHINE to 200-300 right now to save $375 off every window and $750 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings won't last long. Text SHINE to 200-300. Don't wait. Text the word SHINE to 200-300. Text SHINE to 200-300.
Dan Patrick.
Complete awesomeness.
The man we turn to when life hits the fan.
I'll take that. Yeah.
He doesn't ask for anything in return.
Give me some dab. Yeah.
He just wants to talk about sports.
Oh, LeBron.
Because Dan Patrick lives and breathes sports. Dan Patrick is sports.
Wow, that seems a little extreme.
And other things.
Shut up.
It's the Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Now, Here's a taste of something that you missed from the Doug Gottlieb Show.
Got to have it. It's great.
If someone could please point out who is alleged to have been saying these things, I would love to hear them. Again, is there a legitimate analyst or a high-level coach who has now? Look, behind the scenes, I guess maybe, maybe, but I don't understand how behind the scenes hurts you or whatever. Right? Coaches snipe at other coaches constantly. They can be the worst. But again, even that has not been pointed out. This is a completely made-up narrative. There is not a single soul who questioned the legitimacy of Deion Sanders at Colorado because he took a head coaching job at Jackson State. Right? That is paying your dues. Taking a head coaching job at a much lower level and then exceeding anyone's reasonable expectations in both recruiting and wins and losses that's what you're supposed to do. But, let's call it like it is. There isn't anyone I haven't seen anyone. He's had the complete support of the media. The only thing people have questioned is how quickly he could get it turned around and the treatment of the players who were there when he got there, where he just basically ushered them out the door. And then only now is like, yeah, I was just testing those guys. No, you weren't. Look, I was just trying to see. Somebody told them no. Somebody told them they didn't want them to see how bad they wanted it. Like, come on, dude. No, it's not. You want to get rid of those guys. You did believe you had better players on the way. And even the guys that you have now, you believe you have better players coming.
To get the rest of what Doug said, podcast it by searching The Doug Gottlieb Show. And as always, you can hear The Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. Doug Gottlieb. He was an athlete.
I am a former college basketball player, former professional player.
But he never pulls the player card.
It's about the sport.
He values discussion, especially when he's talking.
I talk, you listen.
He's Doug Gottlieb.
I'm a geek.
Say his name.
Oh, Doug.
It's Doug Gottlieb.
The champ is here.
That's right. It's the Doug Gottlieb Show.
You're welcome, America.
Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Did you know that we have original podcasts too? Check out Unbreakable with Jay Glazer.
Welcome to Unbreakable, a mental health podcast.
Or Inside the Parker with Rob Parker for you threadheads.
Baseball.
The I Want Your Flex podcast with Dan Beyer and Mike Harmon for fantasy junkies. And what about everything Up On Game presents offers? Want more Ben Maller? How about the Fifth Hour podcast? We have a podcast for everyone. And it's all on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. I'm Dan Beyer. He's George Reister. The Cardinals have gotten into the end zone. A 99-yard drive. They score against the Niners. The first drive, the graphic just put up on the screen by Fox, the first 99-yard drive the Niners have allowed since 2002. Two-point conversion was no good. San Francisco up on Arizona, 21-16, 4 minutes left in the third. Cowboys continue to lead the Patriots. Now it's 31-3 in the third quarter. But we are focusing what's happening on in Los Angeles because the Chargers have a 24-10 lead on the Raiders. But Justin Herbert was taken into the medical tent with an apparent left hand injury. He was injured trying to, it wasn't even making a tackle. He was just kind of out there on an interception. Max Crosby hit him, got hit by another defender, and ended up grabbing his left hand. Trainers came onto the field and then had Herbert's hand, let's just put it this way, placed very delicately as they walked into the tent. So something to watch. Raiders down to the Chargers 24-10. That's where we are in these late games. He is George Reister. I'm Dan Beyer. Adam Kaplan, our Fox Sports Radio NFL insider, is here. Hit him up on Twitter at Kaplan NFL. Adam, I want to start basically in your backyard today. What happened to Riverboat Ron? Eagles get a 34-31 victory over the Commanders today, but the Commanders score at the end of regulation, end up kicking an extra point instead of going for two. Man, what happened to our Riverboat Ron?
they're pretty aggressive. I got to tell you something. Sam Howell was absolutely phenomenal today. He got the snot knocked out of him. Hit 9 times, sacked 5 times. They blew that big lead of 17-7. It looked bad, but they hung in there. The weather, by the way, today across the country is phenomenal because back here in Philly, the last week was awful with rain, but it cleared up. And I give Washington all the credit in the world. They really hung in there. The Eagles have a lot of guys hurt, and they were able to come back to win. It didn't look good when they were down 17-7. Their offense, particularly their passing game, did not get off to a good start, but they kept throwing it. Eventually, Jalen Hurts, who really did not look good the first 3 games, really played well. He got himself together in the second half where they just stormed back, took the lead, and finished well. I give them credit, but this is probably the game of the day in terms of knockdown, drag-out. It could have been anyone's game.
Now, how about Sam Howell? Because I was high on him coming into the season. What are people around the league saying about him right now, and really Eric Bieniemy and the status of Ron Rivera?
No, he's good. No, look, you could have asked for a better job. In fact, that game, people forget, late in the third quarter, that Buffalo game against Washington was very close. And then, obviously, it just snowballed, and they couldn't come back, and this is what happens sometimes. But I think what happens, and you know this, George, as a former player, you get embarrassed at home. You play a divisional opponent, it's probably the best thing for you to do. It gets your mind right. And, boy, they came out executing extremely well. I was very impressed with what Sam Howell did today, especially under duress. They have one of the worst offensive lines in football. And they hung in there against remember last year the Eagles set a club record with 70 sacks and one of the best pass rushers in NFL history, and they really hung in there today. And I'm sure they'll look at themselves and say they probably should have won the game, but the Eagles showed the heart of a lion. They really did to come back and close it. Look, Dan set it up. This is really anyone's game. It looked like they were going to lose with 5 seconds left, but somehow there were 2 seconds left, so you can't say the Eagles got the home field advantage with the clock.
Adam Kaplan joining us here on Fox Sports Radio. It's week 4 in the NFL, and we just heard from Mike Tomlin a little bit ago. I know it's probably right to give the Texans their flowers, but
they were great.
Pittsburgh just looks not good in the first 4 weeks of the season. They didn't look great when they beat the Raiders on Sunday night. Mike Tomlin says there's going to be changes. What changes do you think should be made in Pittsburgh?
No, I'm pretty close to that team. I know that they've resisted anything with the offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, who I'm told is on the final year of his deal. And historically, they don't make any changes in season. They're just, as you know, they have the most stability in really the NFL for decades. Now, the problem is Kenny Pickett got hurt. I'd be worried about that being a multiple week injury based on what I've heard with the knee injury. Their offense was terrible today before Pickett got hurt. By the way, it was shaky. They got the job done against the Raiders. It was better than the previous 2 games. But today it was embarrassingly bad. So that does worry me a little bit going forward here, not only because Trubisky would be the quarterback, it's just there's been absolutely no identity. They can't run the ball well. And the other thing is C.J. Stroud was I know the completion percentage doesn't show it, but the amount of big plays he made and the throws that he made were terrific today. There were some drops. There were some passes that could have been better. But how good has he been? He's been way ahead of schedule.
Oh, yes. He's been better than everybody thought that, when they were talking about the S2 test and everything.
Yep,
yeah.
Exactly.
Now, what is going on with Matt Eberflus? Because they got exactly what they wanted out of Justin Fields today, and then he decides to not kick a field goal to go up with 2 minutes left, and then the Broncos go down and kick a field goal and they lose.
Yeah, he's going to come. Look, he's been under fire, and so's the GM, Ryan Poles, who made that just really bad trade for Chase Claypool. I said at the time they're going to regret this one. Claypool's extremely immature. I cannot believe they wound up giving up the first pick of the second round in this past draft, and that was a mistake. I highly doubt they'll be able to move him. I mean, they're looking to move him, but I just don't see anyone taking him. They don't want him on the football team, so he could be inactive. Who knows? He was inactive today. He could be inactive until they decide what to do with him, but they're a mess. I mean, Fields played great. I mean, they faced a defense that's reeling. We know what happened the previous week against Miami. So at least they got that going. I understand their schedule set up well for it, but they got to feel great for it. I mean, that's what you want out of Fields. So you can't. And then, by the way, this also gets the offensive staff. It gets the criticism from Luke Getsy out the door. Now they got the quarterback right, at least for 1 week. Now it's up to Matt Eberflus to rebound. And look, we know what happened with the defense coordinator. He left under mysterious circumstances. they're not looking to fire Eberflus. That's not what they're looking to do. And by the way, they're another team that doesn't like to do anything until after the season ends. So I know fans see everybody overreacts. They want everybody fired. That's the way it is. Everybody needs to be fired. They need to fire this guy, that guy. That's not the way it works.
Who you gonna replace him with in the middle of the season?
I mean, that's the point. They don't think this stuff through. It's like, okay, let's go to Pittsburgh before we move on to the next subject. Mike Sullivan, as I understand it, would be probably, if they moved on, would be the in-house candidate. He was the former OC for the Bucks and Giants for many years. He's their quarterbacks coach. He's really the only guy on staff who could do it. It's just it's been a nightmare though. They're all Kenny Pickett from this great preseason and training camp and offseason. Boy, he just played really poorly before he got hurt.
Adam Kaplan joining us here on Fox Sports Radio. I second that emotion because even when he was on the field, the offense wasn't doing anything.
Yep.
I know it's something that you can point out and say, whatever, but they couldn't run or throw the football.
Correct.
Dolphins couldn't stop anybody this week. And the defense has been a problem. George and I talked about this earlier. I thought today was more about Buffalo. I'm fine with what the Dolphins did, even though they were blown out in the second half. George has maybe bigger issues with Miami. Where are you on the Dolphins after their first loss of the year?
No, they've had problem. In fact, I know people make fun of Eli Apple, but he's one of their top 3 corners, and he was a late inactive. He was inactive today. I think that was a problem. Tron Armstead he's been beat up this season with 3 different injuries. He hurt his knee today. That didn't look good. Connor Williams, the starting offensive lineman, also did not play today. That was a problem. And I was waiting for somebody to exploit this defense without Jalen Ramsey, and boy, did they do it. Josh Allen was incredible today. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. He was brilliant. Here's the thing: he didn't force anything today. When he lets the game come to him, he's the best quarterback in football, but he doesn't force it. When he forces it, he looks like a JV player.
Yeah. Now I want to go. The Bengals are broken, right? Like, this season is toast right now.
Yep,
is
I would agree.
Not? So what's broken?
Well, the quarterback's not playing well. Their defense cannot create turnovers. Derrick Henry is playing with a bad toe. Had a good game today, and their offensive line that they were expecting to play better because they think they're 9 deep did not play well. And Burrow is doing what he can with that right calf injury. They're a disaster. I mean, right now you're just hoping, if you're a Bengal fan, that maybe they could turn around and be a 9 or 10 win team and get a wild card. It's going to be hard because the schedule gets harder. And that is by the way, that is the best division in the National Football League, the AFC North. It was absolutely phenomenal, and it's hard to believe though that they're this bad. I just didn't see this. But it's not just one thing though. You asked the question. It's really not just one thing. It's not just Burrow not playing up to his capabilities. It's a lot of bad things.
Adam Kaplan joining us here. Christian McCaffrey has just cashed in on his 4th touchdown of the day for the Niners.
Fantasy points.
So they're back up double digits over the Arizona Cardinals. Monty will have a full update coming up in just a sec. I know George wants to have a Zach Wilson discussion. Jets play the Chiefs tonight. There will probably be a Taylor Swift discussion along the way. But,
she should be there. I saw Mrs. Kelsey at the Eagles game today.
I have another question for
Sure.
Adam, but I know he's got to go.
Well, so do I. Actually, I have
okay,
one as
go,
well, George.
go. Okay,
no,
go.
it was. I was curious on the
I
Jets.
thought you were getting ready to send him all home.
Well, let's go to the Jets. So what's the question?
No,
on the
I
Jets?
just wanted to know about Zach Wilson. Is there a leash? Trevor Siemian was brought in this week. Tim Boyle's the backup. What is the long-term plan for the Jets in New York?
No, this is what I was told privately, and it's. I don't think it's really changed. Now, obviously, a terrible game tonight could change it, but for 3 weeks now, I've been told repeatedly when I've checked into it, they want to see this through with Zach Wilson. It's not just the evaluation. They think he's talented enough. It's one thing if he had a bad training camp. What the fans don't understand, or Jets fans don't understand, is he actually did a nice job in training camp. They thought that the light was going on for him. Preseason was relatively good. Particularly, I think there was a game against Carolina. He was really good. But it goes out the door because that's AAA. This is Major Leagues, and he's looked awful so far. We're being honest here. And there's only so much patience. But, I like that Aaron Rodgers is back with the club. This is good. And I know that for a fact he's spoken to the club this weekend. And I think Jay Glazer had a great report on it, kind of what was said. So the bottom line is, when you look at the situation, they got to do this the best way possible. And the other thing is, they're not running the ball well. This is what they thought they could do to help him out. And Dalvin Cook looks like he's a step slow right now.
Yep, he definitely does. I want to know what's up with these wide receivers, Adam, because, is Devontae Adams one? Is he going to be moved? And then the second thing is, with Puka Nacua playing as well as he is, does that mean that Cooper Kupp can be traded?
Well, he's back. He's going to start working soon, and then they'll see. But look, they're 2-2. If you're the Rams, and you have a chance to. By the way, Herbert's back in the game. If you have a chance, he's got his left hand taped, or his left index finger taped. But the bottom line is, when you look at the situation, they need Kupp back. I cannot believe they won that. Boy, I got that game wrong. I thought the Colts would win it, and they almost pulled it off. Good job by Richardson after a tough start. No, they're not looking to trade Kupp. No, that's not my understanding. They extended Tyler Higbee's contract. No, folks. I mean, if you really look at it, they're in the running for a wild card here. I don't see that at all. That'd be completely counterintuitive to what their plans are. You never say never. Obviously, if they lose the next 4 games, it changes everything.
Hear him on the Inside the Birds podcast. Read him on the Pro Football Network, and hear him right here on Fox Sports Radio as our NFL insider. Adam Kaplan joining us every week. Talk to you in Week 5, Adam. Thanks.
All right, guys. Thank you.
He's George Reister. I'm Dan Beyer. We're live from the TireRack.com studios. As Adam said, Justin Herbert is into the game, but his left hand is heavily taped with a brace on his middle finger. They're not number 1. They're about to punt, but they're up 14. Monty Bolaños with the latest details of what's happening in these late games and so much more. What's going on, Monty?
And I just cringed because he got sacked. Literally, we're talking about...
Yeah, he did look apprehensive, like he wasn't ready to...
Yes, like he was not ready. He got sacked, but he seems okay. Chargers are up 24-10 against the Raiders. Speaking of sacks, Khalil Mack has 6 sacks today. 5th player to reach that. 1 away from the NFL record. And we still have like 10 minutes to go in the game. So he could do it. We'll see.
The NFL record set by Derek Thomas against the Seahawks in a game that Dave Craig eluded the final sack and hit Paul Scansey in the end zone for a huge Seahawks win in Kansas City. Yes, I remember it like it was yesterday.
That was very Steve
Derek
Hartman
Thomas.
of you. Just coming out with all these details
As a
on it.
Seahawks fan, I remember that game.
Yeah, I could see that. Now, the Cowboys are all over the Patriots. 31-3 is that score. Just a field goal that New England has been able to pull off from the first quarter. About 3.5 minutes to go in the third on this one, but I think we can probably wrap it up. The 49ers are beating the Cardinals. Christian McCaffrey, 4 touchdowns. He's given me, if you're wondering, 45 points in my fantasy league, and I'm probably going to lose. No, not probably. I am. To Ricky Herrera, who's in here right now, because he has Dallas's defense, and he also had A.J. Brown. So how is this fair, guys? How is this fair? This is.
I'm playing against the Cowboys defense too, but thank goodness that the rest of his team was so mid. But they're. Oh my God! This game's close.
We're going to run out of time on the baseball scores of today, but we got Monty's score in, and we got George's score in of their fantasy
Sorry.
games.
49ers out 28-16 early in the fourth quarter, but let's do a little baseball recap. Okay, so this is what happened. The Mariners beat the Rangers 1-0. The Astros beat the Diamondbacks. Houston wins with the tiebreak, the AL West division. The Rangers get a wild card. So the Twins are going to face the Blue Jays on Tuesday. The Rangers are going to face the Rays. As for the National League, the Diamondbacks are headed to Milwaukee to take on the Brewers, and the Marlins will take on the Phillies. Luis Arraez has won the AL batting title, ending the season with a batting average of .354. He won the National League batting title last year with the Twins. First player ever to do that. Win back-to-back in both leagues. The Braves, they lost to the Nationals 10-9, but Marcel Ozuna gave them something to celebrate. He hit a solo shot in the bottom of the 9th inning, bringing Atlanta's total to 307 home runs for the season. They tie the MLB record for the most home runs in a single season. The Twins set that record back in 2019. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Monty. It is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. And very rarely does a batting champ get dealt after the season that he won a title. So it's probably one of the reasons as well why Luis Arraez became the first player to achieve that mark. Hit her up at Monty Bolaños. He's George Reister. I'm Dan Beyer. We are live from the TireRack.com studios. We'll talk a little bit more about Zach Wilson in tonight's game. Plus, my wife is all about Chiefs-Jets now because of Taylor Swift. Amazing. She hasn't wanted to watch a football game in the last 4 years. And tonight, I got to be home as soon as I can because Sunday Night Football and the Chiefs and Jets are playing.
Dude, there's nothing more divisive in households over the last 2 weeks than women saying that Taylor Swift put Travis Kelce on the map. Now, granted, he has picked up damn near 1 million Instagram followers, social media followers on Instagram since she made the appearance a week ago. So like, yes, she didn't put him on the map, but she definitely put him attached to a rocket ship though. His off-season money, oh Lord have mercy. He finna get that bag, buddy. He is going to be in more commercials and more seen than he already was. This is like the Reggie Bush, Kim Kardashian effect, where like at that point in time, Reggie was more famous than Kim. And then he elevated her status. And now when she is with, Pete Davidson, then he gets a Taco Bell commercial. Bro, this is.
She kind of made her own fame in other ways. Like Reggie was popular in the sports world, but.
No. Reggie, when she got with Reggie, I'm talking about at that point in time. So this is before Keeping Up with the Kardashians. This is all that. Like he was more famous than she was. And then when they broke up and she got with Kanye,
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm absolutely more assured. And then when she got with Kanye, that just elevated her brand and all that stuff that much more, and her being beautiful and and then business.
Then how do you
and all of that.
explain her sisters even being more popular? Like if Kylie Jenner's got 12 trillion followers,
because they've been on
because
television.
Kim dated Reggie Bush.
No. It all started with Kim. We know,
and we know other things as well. I'm just trying to, there are other reasons.
There were other considerations. I'm just saying that she was that Reggie was more popular than her at that time, and then she passed him. And she got with Kanye.
I would argue Reggie Bush was more popular in college than he was in the pros. I would argue that.
That's when she got with him, was like right when he got in the NFL.
He won a Super Bowl with the Saints. I saw him on the field when they won Super Bowl 44.
Yeah, I said it wasn't that long after he got in the NFL is when they got together.
Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to change George's opinion on the timeline.
Dude, I lived through it. I worked out with Reggie at the same time. I'm positive about these things.
I know, but
we don't believe you. You need more people.
All right, we got to take a timeout. We got fantasy numbers and the whole Kardashian timeline to sort out. That's probably enough Taylor Swift talk for the day. Cardinals
There's never enough Taylor Swift talk.
Into 49ers territory, only down 12 with 11 minutes to go. The Raiders are in Chargers territory, but they're down 14 with just 7 minutes left. And the Cowboys continue to rout the Patriots up 31-3 late in the third. Live from the TireRack.com studios, he's George Reister. I'm Dan Beyer. It's Fox Sports Radio.
I get emotional about this. I'm about to cry. Dear NFL, thank you for your unpredictable nature.
The best part about the NFL is competition.
For your divisional rivalries.
We own this team.
For the passion week in and week out. Thank you, NFL, for being you.
You only love me because I get sacked.
We're Fox Sports Radio.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Ladies and gentlemen, you must have been busy, but The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. We're breaking this down.
Kurt Warner, of course, the Hall of Fame quarterback from the greatest show on turf, that was the St. Louis Rams. He was asked in an interview to compare these Miami Dolphins to the greatest show on turf, or is it fair to compare them? And here's what he said. Tua, his anticipation, his accuracy, is very much similar to mine, and their kind of aggressive nature to throw the football. And even though if they throw it in a different way, they're very explosive, just like we were very explosive. They were built on big plays and chunk plays, just like we were. It was just we probably threw the ball downfield more than they did. Rob, here's some of the records they had. The 70 points ties the second most points scored in a regular season game in the history of the league. The 726 total yards of offense, second most in a game all time. 1951, the Rams had 735. So they're averaging 8.5 yards, 8.4 yards per play this season, Rob. That's the most of any team in its first 3 games in the Super Bowl era. So what are your thoughts? I mean, is it premature, or do you see some similarities between them and that historic greatest show on turf?
Yeah, it's too soon for me. I'm always one that just takes time to, and I get it. Coming off the 70 points, it's hard not to look at them and go, oh my God.
You got to be serious.
To get the rest of what The Odd Couple said, podcast it by searching Odd Couple. And as always, you can listen to The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
That fourth team, particularly on the periphery of Dallas, is the Detroit Lions. But you are saying you don't believe yet.
I don't believe. And it's going to take me a while to believe in the Detroit Lions. As a guy who covered the Lions for a long time, like 20 years on the road, I saw all the lows. I saw the unbelievable situations where you couldn't believe that they lost or like they had an opportunity. And the only thing that I think is weird when it comes to the Lions is people act like they've won 2 or 3 games forever. Like they've never won anything or they never like had a good team. They had good teams with Calvin Johnson and Ndamukong Suh. I could go on and on and on.
This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Check this out.
This is The Herd
You're excited. I'm excited.
with Colin Cowherd.
What you're seeing with Detroit, and this is what good businesses do and good teams do, they had a vision, and they're patiently putting it together. And I think Dan Campbell and Jared Goff work well together. Neither's ever been given the respect. Dan Campbell, let's be honest, that opening press conference came across a bit of a semi-meathead. But when you talk to people close to the organization and you watch the team play, they play really smart football. Well prepared, finish strong, add the pieces they need to. Then there's Jared Goff. Do you know Jared Goff against the spread is the best quarterback in the NFL last 6 years? Why? Because he doesn't get any respect, and yet he's really, really good. He's the best quarterback in the league against the spread. So Campbell and Goff are 2 talented guys who don't get a ton of respect, and they use that as jet fuel.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. When you call yourself the premier sports lineup in the nation, you have to back it up. Well, my friends, we do. Check these names: Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, Jonas Knox, Doug Gottlieb. Spectacular. Cavino and Rich, Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, Ben Maller, Jason Smith, and Mike Harmon. Is that premier enough? Listen to all those names right here. Really? On Fox Sports Radio. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. It's week 4. The Raiders have punched it in from a yard out on 4th and goal. Josh Jacobs gets into the end zone, so it's a 24-17 game. About 4 minutes left to go in that one in L.A. The Cardinals trail the Niners 28-16. San Francisco with the football nearing midfield, 8:30 left to go. And again, the Cowboys taking it to the Patriots today. It's 31-3 early in the fourth quarter in favor of Dallas. He's George Reister. I'm Dan Beyer. We'll get George's thoughts on Zach Wilson in a sec, but first let's get a look at some fantasy numbers from week 4.
Say go, 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 go! Fantasy hits and misses.
Ryan Bershinger has our fantasy numbers. What's going on, Bersh?
Well, we're going to take a look at the 3 afternoon games here. Justin Herbert, your leading quarterback from the late games here. 11 of 21 passing, 113 yards and a touchdown and an interception. But he does have 7 rushes for 31 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, giving him a strong fantasy day thus far. You guys have mentioned it. Christian McCaffrey is just going off. 17 rushes, 101 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the ground. 7 catches on 8 targets for 71 yards and a touchdown. As far as these numbers are concerned, that's over 40 points. A fantastic game for Christian McCaffrey thus far.
Spread the wealth, Niners.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Yeah.
I hate that when teams do this.
I'll mention that in a second when we get to
Why
the
do
misses.
you hate it?
Well, it's just fantasy football purposes.
Oh.
That's why.
Your leading receiver from the late games so far is Michael Wilson. Would you guys like to tell me what team Michael Wilson plays for?
I don't, but I know he went to Stanford.
Arizona.
He is on the Arizona Cardinals. 6 catches just on 6 targets for
He went to
71
Stanford.
yards and 2 touchdowns.
He was number 6.
Oh, good. Let's get to some misses, shall we? Ramondre Stevenson thus far, 13 rushes, 23 yards. Also has 2 catches on 3 targets for 10 yards. So not much going from anybody on the Patriots. Of course, the Mac Jones is a big miss, but you didn't start him in your fantasy league. I hope you didn't. Don't do that. Deebo Samuel is having a rough go of it. Of course, his health was in question coming into the game, and they should have just said that he's not going to play because he, quite frankly, isn't. No catches,